On this episode of the DTVC podcast, Jon Cross from After Movie Diner and PM Entertainment Podcast is on for our New Year's episode. We're going to be looking at two erotic thrillers with C. Thomas Howell and Joan Severance. The first one we're going to look at is Dangerous Indiscretion, and then Payback, both from 1995 as well. Definitely fun conversations there. Now, before that, Jon kind of did a foray into the DTV world. He looked at Mafia, a movie that I had seen before but not reviewed, that had Robert Patrick, Ving Rhames, Pam Grier, and then also Pistol Whipped, a Seagal movie that Scott and I covered on a previous podcast episode. So he kind of tells us what his experience was going through those movies. So that's the first half of the episode. Jon kind of relaying what it was like watching those movies and kind of his thoughts on those, and me kind of interjecting with my own thoughts on those films. And then we take a break, and then we do the two erotic thrillers. So the Joan Severance film and the Joan Severance C. Thomas Howell films, Payback and Dangerous Indiscretions. So we'll do that after. And then also a little bonus for you after the end theme song plays at the end of the episode. I tacked on some of the riffing that Jon and I do. So about a half hour of us riffing about snack candies, going to hockey games, things like that. So that's a little bonus stuff for you there at the end. So this episode was not intended to be the New Year's episode. We recorded this in early December, but then I had the two Christmas episodes I wanted to get in, and then also Tom Jolliffe, whose newest one, Death Among the Pines, when that came out, I wanted to get that one in. So I think Jon's was supposed to be probably around the time Death Among the Pines, or either Chris or there were a few episodes that it was possibly going to be, and then it ended up working out that this one was best here for the New Year's episode. So, and like I said, it was kind of fitting because Jon, on the After Movie Diner, he used to do New Year's episodes. So if you go back through the archives, those are some fun episodes. There a lot of times they're marathon episodes, they're 3 or 4 hours long, but they're really great content there. So definitely check that out. So it ended up being kind of fitting that we did that. But definitely, stay tuned for that episode coming up here in just a bit. And then next week, Chris the Brain Kavinsky's back on. We're going to be looking at Project Shadow Chaser, a.k.a. Shadow Chaser. So the first in the Shadow Chaser series with Frank Zagarino, Martin Cove, Joss Ackland. So definitely check that one out. That one is next week. And then in 2 weeks' time, Ty from Comeuppance is on for his monthly spot. And so we're going to be looking at two with Johnny Mesner and Vinnie Jones. We look at Decommissioned and Checkmate. So that'll be coming up in 2 weeks' time. But with this being the last episode of the year, I want to thank everybody for making this another great year at the Direct to Video Connoisseur, both the podcast and with the site, even the YouTube channel. Everything has grown from what it was last year. So I thank everybody for that, between all the great guests that we've had on the podcast, and I can't wait to have all of you back on next year. Everybody was fantastic. I'm afraid to start naming names because I know I'm going to forget names if I do. So just know, if you were on the podcast this past year, I enjoyed having you on, and I can't wait to have you on next year. So just know that if you're, and thank you for coming on, because as guests, you're what make the content great on here. If it's the episodes where it's just me talking by myself, some of those do well, but for the most part, it's having great guests on. And all of you have had episodes this year. People have come on that have had really great numbers. So thank you all for coming on. And yes, you're going to be getting emails from me soon if you haven't heard from me in a bit, asking when you can come on again. So just keep that in mind. I was a little bit of a busy holiday season for me, so I wasn't reaching out to people as much as probably you were expecting. But you'll be hearing from me soon if you haven't. So again, thank you to all the guests that came on. Again, also thank you for the people listening, people streaming the episodes, sharing, liking on social media. Again, I really appreciate all of that. It's really meant a lot. And let's see if we can kind of keep this thing going into next year, keep it going bigger. So, we'll see what happens. But, again, I'm always excited to hear from people if they have ideas on content, things that you want to cover, all of that. I always really appreciate that. And then in terms of the site, I'm probably going to cover Diablo this weekend. So I think that was my favorite action of the year, is between that and Ballerina, but I think it was Diablo. Recent podcast episode I did with Chris the Brain earlier this month, so you can check that out as well. Got to get that up on the site, more Adkins. We just covered an Adkins movie a couple weeks ago, so maybe I should do something else, but I don't know. We'll see. I was thinking about doing some New Year's resolutions for the site. So as we're kind of in the New Year's resolutions, I don't think anybody cares about what any of my personal resolutions are, but I think site resolutions could be good because you always see me on especially on my blog posts, or my reviews, where I'm like, I got to get more of this guy's movies up, or this person's movies up, or more of this director's, or I got to do more erotic thrillers and less action, or whatever my things are that I say I'm going to do in the post, and I never keep to them. So maybe if I can can do some New Year's resolutions. We'll see. I might post those on social media, and again, we'll see if I keep to them or not. But yeah, I think Diablo, that might be the one coming next week, but we'll see. And then also other erotic thrillers that Jon and I have done. Some of those are in the can. Got to review those as well. But also, I got to got to get some more PM up. Got to get some more exploding helicopter movies up because again, I'm at a paltry 23% of the movies that Will has posted on his exploding helicopter list. It's over 900 movies. I've only done 23%. Only like 200 something of those have I seen. So I need to see more of those movies. So yeah, get some more exploding helicopter movies on the site as well. So we'll see. I may. I may mix in some other ones based on, beyond what's on the list there, but we'll see what happens there. You look for Diablo this weekend. Other ones like DTVC Extra, probably not going to see anything for a little bit. YouTube channel as well, probably not going to see anything for a bit. But again, YouTube channel did great this year, so I do need to keep adding content to that beyond the podcast episodes because, it's great to kind of seeing people engage with those, watch those movies, that kind of thing. So we can make some more YouTube. Again, I tried doing one recently. Right? If you remember, I mentioned I tried doing Hard Justice, and it just didn't. They got blocked for copyright reasons, so didn't end up happening. But yeah, hopefully we'll get that one in there soon. I think that's kind of everything. I should let you know. I think in terms of guest appearances, I mentioned this probably in the last episode as well. But Riot, I did. Chris Sabrain and I were on the PM Entertainment podcast to talk about Riot. I think that's still the most recent episode of the PM podcast. So definitely get in it and check that one out. It's a fun holiday episode. In between Jon, Chris, and I talking about the movie, Jon has some really great interviews where he interviews Kenneth Teagar, who plays the reporter in that movie. He interviews Spiro Rosatos, who action directed that movie, and then William Applegate, a screenwriter who worked on that film. So you've got Chris, Jon, and I talking about the movie for the first part. He gets the interviews in, and then we finish out the movie talking about more stuff. And we talk about all kinds of fun stuff when we talk about that film. We talk about, sort of the connections with Spiro Rosatos doing the Fast and Furious movies later, but also then Chad Stahelski and Darren Prescott who work on that movie and some of the stuff they do, like with the John Wick film. So, and then, there's some goofy moments that happen in the film as well that we definitely draw attention to, too. So definitely go, PM Entertainment Podcast, you should be following that one. Go check that one out as well. And then, hey, it's the end of the year. I put out a new book, Mark in Sales. The link is in the podcast description. You're going to hear an ad for it in this episode as well. Go check that one out. Amazon, Kindle Unlimited, paperback, however you want to buy it. I always appreciate however you buy it. We've been making some sales recently, so people have been picking it up. But yeah, why don't we have Jon from Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures playing our theme song here, and then when we come back, Jon Cross and I, we're going to be talking first about Mafia and Pistol Whipped, and then after the break, we'll be talking about Payback and Dangerous Indiscretion.
And then, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
What are you drinking, sir?
Water.
Oh, you don't have Moxie going on there?
No. I drank my one can that I had with me on the
Okay. All right, dude. Yeah. Do your intro, and then we'll talk about your one can of Moxie.
All right. Yeah, exactly. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the DTV Connoisseur Podcast. As always, this is Matt here, and I'm joined by very special guests. We've got Jon Cross from PM Entertainment Podcast and the After Movie Diner Podcast. Welcome back, Jon.
Yes. Hello, everybody. It's me back again to talk about two more erotic thrillers and probably spending a lot of time just in general back in the world of DTV. I'm very excited because I want to hear how your October went. I want to hear how your Halloween and or DTV horror viewing went. I want to hear all about that. I want to hear about what's coming up. I want to hear about what's just happened. And then I have some DTV recent watches to share with you, picked up as I think most DTV DVDs should be from a charity shop or thrift store or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, which is perfect. It's perfect. So one big one. Last night I had Chris the Brain from Bulletproof Action on, and we talked Diablo because I finally
so
watched
good.
that one. Yes, it's just he was talking about. We were both talking about how if spoiler for the episode, which actually people listening to this one will hopefully they'll have heard the week before because Chris is going a week before.
Listen to it in sequence because the DTVC podcast has a through line. And if you miss a couple of episodes, oh my goodness, what are you doing?
Over. Right, exactly. But we would say like, man, Marco Zarore's performance, like just from a performance. I mean, the fight sequences between him and Adkins, that's one thing. That's like something you go, okay, I can expect that. But Zarore, chilling baddie, just absolutely
bald with the skullet.
Yeah, the horseshoe hair. Yeah,
the skullet killer.
Yes.
I love it. There's no business at the front at all.
Yeah, so we were just
the skullet with the absolutely no business at front and then all party at the back.
Yeah, no, I mean it was so that's from the DTV world. That was definitely a big one there to be able to discuss.
Diablo. Good though, right? So good.
Yeah, because when I was on your podcast when we talked about Rothrock and we talked about the Working Man, and then you had seen Diablo and I didn't get a chance to see it before for the episode, so you were extolling its virtues and I was just like, it sounds that good, I mean, I think there was somebody on IMDb. There's some Letterboxd. There's some people that weren't fans of it, but for the most part, across the board, it is one of those. I think as Chris was saying, it's like top 10 lists for the year.
Yeah, it will be at the top of my top 10 list. I think there's only a couple this year. Although I haven't gone through it, I've watched quite a few new movies, so maybe it'll be quite a contentious top spot. I don't know, but. Diablo I absolutely loved, and it reminded me about 3 years ago when we were first living here. I went through I have some real gaps in my Atkins watching and in my Atkins purchases, and I sort of bought everything, just cheap DVD versions. I bought everything that he had done up until I think Hitman's Holiday, Accident Man 2, I think. And I even got hold of Metal Hurlant, the show he did with Michael Jai White and a whole bunch of other stuff. And I watched a whole ton of Atkins. And then, he was putting out so many, I felt like, and I think what had knocked me off the train for a bit was One Shot. I appreciated the technicality of it and was kind of floored by the technicality of it, but kind of hated everything else about it. And I think I just kind of like, oh man, I know he's capable of so much better, even though I'm sure it was an incredible, strenuous, rigorous movie to make. And he's great in it. It's just everything else. I was just like, this is dull. But I never sort of went on to One Shot 2 and da-da-da-da-da. But I forget what it was. Diablo came across my path and I was just like, all right, I'll watch an Atkins tonight. And it has convinced me it's the one that's made me go, right, John, you need to watch all the Atkins you've missed in the last 3 years, and you need to get caught up. So, yeah, I might have a Christmas Atkins or something like that. Maybe the month of December is, Scott Adkins month. I don't know. But, yeah, Diablo, high marks, high praise. And the new one that he's doing, which looks like a fight movie in a prisoner of war camp, that looks good. That looks good too. Let's get on to some DTV movies because I want to talk about some of the films I watched last night, if you don't mind.
Yes, no, absolutely, yeah.
So we're going to dive in right off the bat with Mafia. Mafia.
Right.
Mafia. This is the movie, if you don't know, with Ving Rhames, Pam Grier, and Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
Right? And you would go, wait a minute, there's a movie with Ving Rhames, Pam Grier, and Robert Patrick. Why are we not watching that right now?
Right.
Well, the reason why you're not watching it right now is because it's called Mafia, and I can't honestly, with hand on heart, recommend anyone want to watch it. However, in the same breath, everyone should be forced to watch Mafia So there's two reasons. A, because like you said earlier, the fact that this movie got made, right? It's written and directed by like an indie guy who's made like, I think, just a couple of handfuls of sort of indie gangster, shot and video type films. The fact that he managed to get Pam Grier and Ving Rhames and Robert Patrick in this movie, the fact that he had the audacity, Matt, on clearly zero budget, because I'm pretty sure that everyone else in the movie were just friends of his, because they were all 25 years younger than the three main stars of the movie, which just made the whole thing weird.
Oh, yes.
So weird.
Oh, I mean, Ving Rhames' sister is played by someone who's way younger, and she's dating Robert Patrick, who's also
way older.
Yeah. Oh, it's just such a weird dynamic. All of that's going on there, and you're just like, and it's supposed to be like some kind of like connection, and like they were like trying to make it like a story quirk, that was supposed to be like this.
It
really
was meant to be.
Angle.
So it was meant. If you can imagine a blaxploitation parody of a sort of a Hell Up in Harlem, Black Caesar kind of storyline, but kind of via Casino, kind of via a lot of Tarantino stuff, right? Kind of via very low budget indie. You should not be attempting the 70s because you don't have the money to attempt the 70s movies, right? Because they had like one 70s car, right? I counted maybe 3 70s suits. Because what was funny was everyone else was just, wow, if we just put suits on people, that's the 70s, right? People haven't worn suits since the 70s. And they were walking around in like straight off the peg JCPenney 1995 specials. And I'm like, that's not the 70s, guys. Like literally 3 people have the 70s. It's clear that the cousin did a deal on the wigs. Like the wigs, Matt.
Yes, the wigs.
Wig they have Pam Grier. What is
Oh no, it's just,
what is that? I was so offended. I was offended on her behalf. I was offended on my behalf.
Yeah, because how do you get a screenshot? So full disclosure, I watched this a few years ago. Thought I was going to review it, and I watched it. I was like, I can't review this.
Yeah.
Which is something that's kind of a new thing. People don't realize that. I think in the past I would just review it because I was like, I've watched it. I need to get make some lemonade out of these lemons. But now it's like, no, I watch things and I'm like, no, I can't review it. But that was one of the things. Like, how do I get a screenshot of Pam Grier when she looks like that?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not fair to her, No,
it's not fair to her. It looks like they had dragged her out of retirement to play like Foxy Brown one more time, or rather Coffee one more time, in a horrendously fake Afro wig for like a comic relief sketch or something. Yeah. Like that's what it looked like. It looked like if she was doing a comic relief sketch where they're like, we're not spending any money on the sketch because we want all the money to go to Africa. So you're like, okay, fine. We understand that it's going to be filmed in a basement in the BBC with really cheap costumes, right? Because when they've done like Doctor Who ripoffs and stuff like that, they all look like kind of cheap Doctor Who versions rather than the real thing. This looked like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we got Pam Grier over to England to film like a Coffee or a Foxy Brown sequel, but for comic relief? That's what it looked like. It was any other explanation. If it wasn't that, if it wasn't like, oh, she's in on the joke and it's the cheap BBC and they're just putting on an Afro wig. If this was for real, it was one of the most offensively bad things I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh yeah, and like you said too about this whole thing about all of these characters that
many characters, Matt, so many.
Right, and like you said, that they're all very unremarkable. They all have obnoxious wigs, and
so many.
And then like there's this whole story element of, well, Robert Patrick is the cop who's dating the girl, or he's dating the younger sister of the guy he's after, and you're like, but why is he dating her? He's like a good 30 years older than her. Like that doesn't make any sense. Like how
she looks like a stripper and he looks like, especially because Robert Patrick's gone, well, look, I'm not wearing a wig because look how stupid Pam Grier looks. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my hair in a center parting, which by the way, has nothing to do with the 70s at all, and does make Robert Patrick look like a child molester.
Exactly.
So he looks like he should be hanging out in a van down by the candy shop, enticing people into the van with popped Skittles. That's what he looks like.
You know what I just realized? is there are no images on IMDb for this movie. A movie that came out in
There's
you
no
know,
images of Pam Grier on the DVD cover. They
right.
knew, like they edited the film together and went, "What the fuck have we
What did we
done?"
do?
Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? They had that realization on
Yeah.
set. They've gone, "Oh, she's Pam Grier, so we're kind of in awe of her. And we won't. It's great that she's even in our movie." They haven't thought about it, mate. You know,
Yeah.
they've been blinded by Pam Grier love, and who can blame them? Because I
Right.
myself would be blinded by Pam Grier love. I wouldn't put a wig on her, but that's me. I'm a sensible person. I also wouldn't set a movie made for 3 packets of Pop Skittles and a bag of chips. I wouldn't set it in 1975 because it just looks stupid. It just looks like you've got a bunch of your long-haired friends around, or people who are willing to wear really stupid wigs, and they're all going to pretend that they're in a blaxploitation movie when I don't think any of them have even ever watched one. It was
No.
absolutely baffling, Matt. There was
Yeah.
one guy who looked like Bobcat Goldthwait, who I called Bobcat Fuckwait. His death scene. His death scene. You see, this is the reason, Matt. I think
Yeah.
people have to watch this movie because his death scene is like, oh, it's a juicy bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich of shit.
It is. It is. I mean, the movie itself is only like what, 80 minutes, 78 minutes. I mean,
But
it's
it feels like it's days.
oh, it takes forever. I mean, that's the thing too, is that like it's one of those movies that when you start it,
Yeah.
you're going in, you're like, oh boy, I must be about halfway through this thing by now. It's only, and then you look at the slider and you're only 15 minutes in. And
Yeah. Well, it's because there isn't a story, right? So you can't say on the back of the VHS case, so and so kidnaps his daughter and he's out for revenge or whatever. Like, there's no elevator pitch to this movie because it's
Right.
like Ving Rhames playing B.A. Baracus
right.
goes around the neighborhood killing a bunch of people who apparently like threaten his whatever. And tries to bump uglies with his best friend's wife. Meanwhile, Pam Grier, who we're meant to believe is like a great cop, is bribing people and trying to kill people and whatever just to get to the guy that killed her partner. Meanwhile, Robert Patrick is married. There's so many storylines, Matt,
Yeah.
and they're all unnecessary, all of them. This could have been boiled down to one thing. Like, because what they've done is they've gone, well, it's a Pam Grier revenge movie, but it's also Ving Rhames plays B.A. Baracus as a mob boss movie. But it's also a love story. Will they, won't they be able to wed with the backdrop of urban violence and blah. Like, it's so trying to be like all of the things all at once. But
Yeah.
you know what, Matt? Like, especially Bobcat Fuckwait, he really it's such the perfect. Go watch Mafia, and go watch Mafia with the words Bobcat Fuckwait in your back of your mind, and when the guy comes on the screen, you'll be like, "That's who he's talking about." In fact, I think you could probably show someone a still from the movie and be like, "Him, he's
Yeah.
Bobcat."
That's it. Yeah. God, yeah. I mean, the
But
movie, I
he
believe it's
really
still on
tries. Though. He
Tubi.
swings for the fences, man. He really
Yeah.
tries. Yeah.
I mean, one of the things I looked at, so when I was going to review the movie, I was like, "Oh, this movie, it's got all these names in it, and it's only got 4 critic reviews." I thought, "Okay, well, that's kind of crazy." That and sometimes that doesn't mean anything,
Right.
especially if it's an old movie. When it's an old movie that doesn't have a lot of critic reviews, and like, okay. But I have to assume a lot of people did the same thing I did. They watched it and said, "Oh, this is this has got to be good," and then you get 5 minutes in and you're like, no, it doesn't got to be good. It's
Well, no, because there's no story, Matt.
right.
Like,
Well, there's no story, but it also
but
looks
you're
ridiculous.
following. But the story starts, right, and you're following the story, and you're following the
Yeah.
story, and you're like, this must be going somewhere. This
Yeah.
must be going somewhere, and then whoop, it's not. Now it's something else. Now it's Pam Grier
Right.
following the thing, blah blah blah, and you're like, wait, okay, I'm following this. How does it relate to the other thing? Don't worry, I'm sure the film will tell me. And you're thinking all these things, and your mind's racing, and you don't know where you're going, and you think, God, this has been on for hours. This is JFK level of intricate madness
Right.
without the steady hand of Oliver Stone and the many different filmic techniques he's going to use to inform the audience exactly where they are in the story. We don't have any of that, Matt. We are flying by the seat of our pants on this one, and you're following it it, and you think, oh, this is crazy. This must have been on like 3 hours. And then you look and it's been on like 21 minutes and you go, I don't know where I am, who I am. And if I stay for another hour, because it's only 80 minutes long, if I stay for another hour, will this movie take my soul and will I ever get it back? That's what you're thinking at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a valid concern when you're making your way through this thing.
When you look at the fact that Pam Grier was convinced to wear that wig, it is a valid concern that maybe everyone lost their soul on this movie.
Well, because it is like it's like one of those things where like I don't know how it works if you're Pam Grier and you get in that situation. Because it's not like, like this movie was shot in the Philippines and she was stuck in the Philippines and she's just like, all right, I better just do it and get out of here.
Right.
But I guess I wonder if she turned down other projects or something. She's like, I got to do this. I'm stuck now.
Yeah,
I need the money.
Maybe she promised Ving Rhames.
That could be too.
Because he is a producer on the movie.
So that makes sense. Yeah.
What's incredible is, can you imagine being Ving Rhames, right? You've read the script. You've gone, all right, this is kind of cool. This could be my own like Pulp Fiction. Maybe this guy I'm working with will turn into, kind of a Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee type character. Like, let's go with this. This sounds great. Right. And then he turns up on the set and they show him fucking Bobcat Fuckweight, who looks like the guy out of Wet Hot American Summer with the long straight hair.
Yeah.
The chubby guy who I think went on to be in Mad Men.
Yes, I think so.
One of those series. Anyway, that guy, he looks like that guy. Can you? And he's at least 20, if not 30 years younger than Ving Rhames in this movie.
Right.
Ving Rhames like looks at this guy and be like, wait, I'm sorry, where the fuck am I?
Right.
I read this script by this like intelligent, young, hip black filmmaker, and I wanted to be in his movie and support him and everything else. And this is who I'm acting with. Fucking Zed from Police Academy 3.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Right. It's absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean, the director himself, I guess he has an upcoming project, which it might be something that's just been stuck in development hell for 10 years. But
he's trying to get the wigs out of Hawk.
Right.
His Canadian cousin who was feeding him wigs across the border in the current climate. Donald Trump has shut down all wig shipping issues, and therefore he can't get those cheap, sweet Canadian wigs. They're all locked up at the border, and he's being hunted down for being a wig terrorist.
Can you imagine? Like, I could kind of see like somebody just like him putting out some kind of ad or like being interviewed or something, and it being like this jokey meme thing that makes fun of Trump but doesn't really do anything effective. But it's like, Trump being like, something along the lines of like, oh no, we can't have wigs coming from Canada. No, we're doing, we're gonna breed our own yaks in America, shave the yaks, and we're gonna make our wigs here in America. We don't want them from Canada. And the people
we're gonna shave our own children. It's gonna be beautiful. We have a lot of bald children.
Exactly. And then you're gonna have like this whole slew of Democratic politicians that go on Colbert and go, did you see him talking about that wig thing? Look at this. This is crazy. I don't do anything as a politician, and it's like, and then it's like, meanwhile, while everybody's joking,
Gavin Newsom shows up and goes, I'm going to do an ironic TikTok about this. Gavin, you can.
Right. Exactly. All that happens. And then like at the same time, Trump is just like deporting more people, like, dismantling the Constitution.
But think about this. Think about this as the ultimate conundrum, right? What if Donald Trump is like a really big Pam Grier fan, right?
Yeah.
And he watched Mafia, right? And he went, I've got to fucking shut the border from whatever wig hell this came from. Finds out that all the wigs came from his cousin up in Canada. And he's like, we've got to stop the importation of bad Canadian wigs. We're going to have real wigs here made from the hair of children. And the whole like Mafia was the reason. Would you agree with Donald Trump in that case? Like at a certain point, maybe you're just like, I have to abandon my principles and agree with the tyrant.
I mean, I don't know that I agree, but I understand it. I guess I'd understand the motivation, right? Like it would make sense.
I don't know that I'm going to give him the credit, but I will. Yeah.
Yeah, I get the motivation for that. I mean, poor Pam Grier. When you said you were watching Mafia, I think I caught the messages after you said you were going to watch it, and then you'd started it already, and I was like, oh yeah, boy, you're going to be in for it with that one.
I loved it. Yeah. I loved it and hated it. It was like exquisite beauty and agonizing wonder. It was great. as I say, I can't recommend people ever watch it, but at the same time, I do feel like everyone should be forced to watch it, like in A Clockwork Orange, with Malcolm McDowell with his eyes pinned open, and they show you 80 minutes of Mafia, and after 15 minutes, you're screaming, "It's been on for days, make it stop!" And it's not. It's only been on 15 minutes, but your eyes, they burn with the pain of the film, while at the same time going, I do hope that ridiculously lank-haired, bum-fluff, mustached fucking guy who's meant to be Ving Rhames' right-hand man, I do hope that he gets a comical death scene with a woman who doesn't know how to cry on camera. That would be choice. And sure enough, it is choice, and you do get it. And it was like when you bite into a bacon, lettuce, and tomato, and the lettuce crunches and the bacon crunches and the tomato squishes, and you're just like, oh, bathe me in the fucking idiocy of this scene. It was just glorious, Matt. It was wonderful.
Yeah. The nice mayo and a high quality bread that's toasted perfectly. Yeah. When it all comes,
the death scene with Bobcat Fuckwait. That's right. That was chef's kiss. I loved every minute of it. So Matt, the whole story was that I was having one of those days where I'm like, I don't know what I want to watch tonight. I'd basically been watching horror for the whole of October and into early November. And I was enjoying it. Like I'd kind of like every time I sat down to watch something new, I was like, oh, that's right. Heart Eyes is available. I'll watch Heart Eyes, or the new Drop movie with the woman who gets like phone calls basically being like, we're going to kill your kid if you don't do this stuff in the restaurant. Black Phone, which I hadn't seen. So I watched a bunch of those. And then I was kicking around the other day, and I'd gone into my local Goodwill. I was like, I don't know what I'm in the mood for tonight. Like, I don't know what I'm in the mood for. And I found Mafia. I found Steven Seagal in Pistol Whipped. And I found Kevin Bacon in Death Sentence.
Yeah.
And they were on DVD, whatever it was, $2 a pop or whatever. I'm like, I'm just buying these. And then the whole day went past, because that was early in the day and I was working and blah, 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 blah. And I finished my dinner. I came downstairs and I'm like, I still want to watch Mafia and Pistol Whip. And I was going to watch Death Sentence, but then I realized I needed to watch one of the two movies that we're covering tonight.
Right.
So I watched Dangerous Indiscretion, and I'll watch Death Sentence tonight after this. But the fact that I'd gone the whole day and still was like, no, I'm going to watch Mafia, meant that even though 20 minutes into it, I was like, make it stop, dear Lord, please make it stop. I felt much like you with the the Monster Energy drink that was killing you from the inside out. Much like that, where you're like, I've paid for the damn thing. Now I need to watch it all. Yeah. I watched it all, Matt, and then I went right on to Steven Seagal's Pistol Whipped.
Yeah.
Wow, Matt.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, come on, that's quite the double bill. Mafia followed by Steven Seagal.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
I think Steven Seagal uses the same wig, man, to be honest.
He does, exactly. When you mentioned Pistol Whip, because Pistol Whipped it's one of the more fun of his early DTV ones, but I was waiting for certain signposts as you were like messaging about the movie. Like, okay, he's going to mention certain things that happen in this movie, and I can't wait for him to mention them.
Yeah. You were like, wait till the lady friend turns up. And then she turns up, and I'm like, oh, is that the conversation they're having about his penis?
Right.
I don't want to be watching a Steven Seagal movie and ever think of him having a penis, because I don't think of him like that. I think of him as a weeble, kind of shaped like like an egg with a head, draped in, Asian clothing, Buddhist prayer robes or whatever they are.
Right, or oversized coats,
with a Sesame Street the Count haircut and a lot of sweating and eye saggage. I mean, his eyes in this movie, they're so recessed into his head. I mean, they've become nothing more than like watery slits.
Right.
And the rest of his face just looks like someone got like the mud that they put on women at the salon and just slapped it like 5 inches thick on his face. And he just sweats and grumbles his way through the movie. It's it's such twaddle. I mean, it's such garbage. Like, there's a whole sequence at the beginning where he's in this church and the priest just basically turns around. It's a fully Irish priest, of course. And he basically turns around and tells the entire audience, like Seagal's, not only his life story, but his entire character. Like his entire character. Like Seagal's just sat there looking like a mound of chocolate ice cream that's currently melting off a giant penis-shaped cone. And he's just sat there in this pew, not moving, while this priest is like, "You're a terrible man. You're a robber. You're a thief. You're a cheat. I know you stole the money, but you've got a spark inside you. You've got a heart of gold. You've got a blah, 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 whatever." And, and as Seagal walks out, he's all like, hey, Padre. And I'm like, pretty sure he's not a Padre, but okay. hey, Padre, how come you hang out with a guy that's so bad if you be so good, or whatever like that? And I'm like, why is he talking like that? He's from Detroit. What's
Well, not
what's
only is
going
he from
on?
Detroit, he grew up in like Southern California, like I think it was Fullerton or something like that.
I thought he was from Detroit.
So his family moved to Southern California when he was
Okay.
young. Yeah. So so
He
should
should sound like the Californians then, not like Foghorn Leghorn.
Right, exactly. He should have even more region-free diction as opposed to like some Cajun accent or the way he.
Well, he's always wavering between a whole cacophony of accents. There's but because at this point he's delivering everything, you can't even really tell what accent he's doing. Like he's at this point, literally, his eyes don't open and his mouth doesn't open, and there is like the movie The Stuff, Larry Cohen's The Stuff.
Yes.
His normal head looks like Garrett Morris's head when it melts in The Stuff. When his head goes all like big and waxy and crazy and like white bulbous foam comes out of him. That like Steven Seagal just looks like that permanently. It's so true. He spends the whole time talking, and I'm just like, this is crazy. He looks like Boss Hogg had one too many steroid cakes. He's just baffling. But it is quite a fun one. I mean, it's terrible. It makes no sense, but it's written by the guy. It's like when I looked it up and it was like written by the guy who wrote Ronin. I'm like, was it the guy who wrote Ronin after he had a massive head injury? Because the script was balls from start to finish.
Well,
I think Mafia made more sense.
Well, the thing with Seagal movies that we've discovered. So I've been doing this series with Scott Murphy from All 90s Action, where we've been doing, the 2000 Seagal movies. We did Pistol Whipped, actually. It was episode 161 back in 2024. We covered it.
I'll have to listen to it tonight, Matt, as I fall asleep.
Yes, it was. So we've discovered that Seagal essentially sabotages every movie he's in. He goes and he rewrites the script. He does all these things. So this guy probably wrote a good script, and then Seagal'd it all up. And I mean, I'm sure the big dick line, that was not what the guy wrote.
No one's writing that line for anyone else but Seagal.
Right.
Also, just watching him kiss someone.
Oh yes. Yeah.
Oh, it's like watching someone lick the bottom of a pig trough. It's one of the most unpleasant things I've ever witnessed. I've seen some of the most grotesque acts human beings have ever portrayed against each other in a film, performed on each other in a film, not least of which is C. Thomas Howell's mustache exploring Joan Severance's Holiest of Holies. That is one of the most grotesque things I've ever seen. However, second to that potentially is Steven Seagal kissing a human. It's just weird. It's like if a Thunderbird puppet it's like Team America World Police when the Thunderbird puppets had a sex scene. You were like, yes, it's hilarious, but I don't want to be like watching this is disturbing. That's what it was like. Steven Seagal just acting like a human and kissing someone. It's stomach churning. It's stomach churning. Yeah.
No, And I think that the actor who plays that character, oh, why can't it's interesting I can't find her. I think her name's like Renee Goldsberry.
Yeah, she's got three names, and her photograph is her on the red carpet in a pink dress, I think.
Yeah, one of these things with IMDb. I've got to talk
So I
to
was
the
trying to
IMDb.
find her last night, and I couldn't right away.
Yeah, same
It's the
thing. I
third
don't.
name.
Yeah, why? That's weird. That like, yeah, that she's not just like the top. She should be like one of the top names in it. But Renee Elise Goldsberry. That's right. She was a soap opera actor, and I wonder if there's a sense of like, okay, this is a role that I might not normally get, so I'll try this out. And then she's knee deep in it, making a Seagal movie, and it's like, boy, yeah, I don't know if I needed it that bad. I don't know.
Yeah, and I have to say it was one of the sad things. I enjoyed my trip into DTV World last night. I really genuinely did. It was a lot of fun. But to have two movies like Mafia and Pistol Whip back to back, where basically the black woman in each movie is humiliated, one by a terrible wig and the other one by being forced to kiss Seagal. It was a little much for me. I would have rather her beat the shit out of Seagal and Pam Grier beat the shit out of Robert Patrick. Like, who makes a movie and makes Pam Grier the bad guy and Robert Patrick the good guy? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. We've decided we want Pam Grier as a hero and we want Robert Patrick as a villain. That decision was made. You don't get to suddenly go, wow, we're going to flip the script. Don't flip the script. Remember when Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi flipped the script in that movie, Neighbors? Nobody liked that. Nobody enjoyed it. Stop flipping the script. Go back to Pam Grier being the hero, Robert Patrick being the bad guy. Don't tell Robert Patrick to middle part his hair. He looks like a child molester who lives in a panel van. Like, let's not. It was so disturbing, Matt. Like, everything about the movie was disturbing. Everything about Pistol Whipped is equally disturbing. But again, it started a trend. Like, if Mafia had too much plot, right? Pistol Whip was just shy of something resembling a plot. Like, it had stuff happening. But nobody had a character arc. Nobody learned anything. Nobody, like, it was just the only solution to anything was to shoot people. There was no, like, it was just endless shooting. The funny thing is earlier on in the movie, of course, you see him literally shoot the tip off a match from miles away. And then in the final scene, he must reload his gun 8 times, basically because Seagal wants to look cool doing it. So he just has them film him reload his gun, like in slow motion, 8 different ways. And I'm like, earlier on, you only needed 5 bullets and you took out some matchsticks and a bunch of bottles and some other stuff like that without grazing anybody else in the room. But now you've got an open channel to who the bad guy is, and you've got multiple weapons with you, and you reload 8 times without killing a single person. Then it goes to the graveyard, and it continues. The only thing that really gets destroyed is the poor fruit cart that's owned by the Asian woman, who's only in the movie to have someone racist towards her. It's one of the most problematic things. But I enjoyed a dalliance with true DTV. That's what it was. Like, because there's DTV, right? There's Diablo, right? Which is just a classy pick. There's, as I said earlier, like Chasing Amy, like a nice documentary. It's a classy pick. And then there's even things like Payback, which we'll talk about later, but that is at least a kind of glossy, well-structured, genre-specific movie that deserves the DTV title. But then there's the Mafias and the Pistol Whipped movies of the world, and they just have their own place, Matt. And I don't know quite where that is, but for some reason, you and I are forever intrinsically drawn to them, and for that, I'm grateful.
Yes, I hear you. I'm the same way. It is. I mean, the Seagal ones in particular. Seagal's evolution in the DTV world, where he just became more and more Seagal, which just made the movies worse and worse. And then, like you mentioned, the Keanu. I mean, because Pistol Whip is directed by Roel Rene, I think I'm saying it right, Roel, who's still working. He did an Aaron Eckhart film called Classified recently, so he's still doing stuff. But it's like there's this point where
from the Netherlands, isn't he?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I think he may have studied under what's his I drawn a blank on the guy who did RoboCop.
Paul Verhoeven.
I think he may have worked under him. But yeah, it's like with Seagal, it's like there's a certain point where it's just like, okay, let's do 10 of these with Keone Waxman, and they're
Right.
all the same movie.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thing. But yeah, Pistol Whipped. Pistol Whipped is actually one of the better ones, if you can believe that. It's
No, that's why like it. I was gonna probably buy it and watch it anyway, but I did slightly look it up on IMDb and be like, does it pass the 4.5 test? And it
Yeah.
did. I think it's 5.1 or 5.0 or something on
Yeah.
IMDb. And so I'm like, do you know what? Seagal's not making many 5 out of 10 IMDb movies during the 2000s. This might be worth a go. And even though Lance Henriksen was woefully underused,
Yeah.
which I was sort of expecting, but at the same time, he didn't Hendrickson up to the max. He should have rised to meet Seagalness with a particular brand of Hendricksonness. And similar to Mafia, Seagal is just surrounded by, sub soap opera par actors. Like some of the actors he has to act with in this movie just, I mean, staggering that they ever even go. I mean, it makes me think to myself, Matt, why you and I sat here doing it. We could just put on a wig and be better than any of these people.
Right.
Just even if we just showed up and went, "Hi, my name is John," and that's how we acted the movie, it's better than the way these people acted in this movie. Now, it's not better than the way people acted in Mafia, because there was some absolute choice cuts in Mafia. You remember the little guy? Like, so when you get to, well, they're all little guys. Like, it was so funny. The guy that Ving Rhames came to kill, who was in his like shorts and a vest.
Yeah.
And they're inexplicably Irish. Like, they both wake up and he said, "Why are you waking me up in the middle of the night?" And he can't even like do the accent or whatever. And she's like, "You better get downstairs. I heard a noise." "Oh, you heard a noise downstairs, did you?" "Oh, I did, yeah." "You sure it wasn't the guy with the shillelagh?" Like they're doing this whole thing, right? "Mary, Jesus, and Joseph, we're gonna get out of bed in the middle of the night." "Oh, for goodness sake." Right. So they're doing all this business, right?
Right.
They go downstairs and he's like 5'0", wearing a tank and a pair of shorts. He goes over to the fridge, and then Ving Rhames comes in looking like fucking Hulk versus a young, spindly child. And I'm like, this isn't going to be much. And then sure enough, the guy has a heart attack. I'm like, what movie is this movie?
Right.
What movie is this movie? We are introduced to this Irish couple. You're like, oh, this is going to be a big thing because they've bothered to do accents and everything. And he goes there, just falls over. That's it.
Yeah.
They're out of the movie.
It is. It's a trip of a film. It just it's
It was so beautiful, Matt. I was like, wait, they're about to do accents. Oh, goody. It was such a treat. It was such a bonbon of delight. I did love it. So, I can strongly recommend. Pistol Whipped, on the other hand, you would kind of like, really? You couldn't find other guys to play mobsters in Connecticut? Like, come on now. I would have just gone and got the Trashers guys. I would have just been like, let's go down to Danbury. We'll pick up a few of the Trashers. They'll do their like, bada bing, bada boom, Tony Soprano, bada boom, in the house. Let's get some Fazul or whatever, They do this business. Seagal would show up and be like, "It's not pronounced Fazul, it's Fazuli," and then like hit everyone with his flappy hands. I love it. With the best bit was when fucking Lance Henriksen is like, "I need someone who can go into a high-class hotel and murder 15 people with extreme prejudice, and then escape like a ghost without being seen." And you're like, first of all, Seagal's 6'5", built like a fucking an ostrich farm packed into a barn. I don't know why that makes sense to me, but it does. And he enters a hotel like he's Godzilla. Like, the funny thing is, if that hotel or that restaurant that he goes into has a fucking serve yourself buffet, all you can eat buffet, they're fucked. There's no way he's leaving that place like a ghost. Like, there's no way. He's making a beeline to the buffet and eating all the fucking chicken wings that have been sat under hot lights all day. Fucking.
Well, the thing, when you're talking about the actors, so a lot of them he would shoot in Bulgaria. And the way that they would cast those in Bulgaria is they would get UK, mostly television actors from the UK, who
Oh
were
yeah,
in
we talked
between
about it with
projects.
Imelda Staunton is in one, right?
Imelda Staunton's in Shadow Man, which after when she did the movie with him, and she realized like, oh, I'm not in any scenes with him. Even well, I'm in scenes with him, but he's not there shooting
Yeah,
with
he's
me.
not showing up. Yeah,
Yeah, she was just like, I think it doesn't say that she fired her agent, but she wasn't happy about the movie. So yeah,
Isn't Michael Caine in a Steven Seagal movie?
yeah, was it On Deadly Ground? Is that the
Yeah,
one?
he plays like an oil tycoon with like
Right,
black
right.
dyed hair, which is
Yeah.
so funny because now Steven Seagal looks like Michael Caine's character is in On Deadly Ground because
Yes.
he's colored in his hairpiece with Sharpie. Bless little Seagal. I love it when big, fat, powerful twats get all insecure about their hair. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh, they're so big and strong, Matt. They should definitely be leading things and be in charge of the nuclear codes when they're fucking insecure about their hair and their vagina necks. Fucking people. Anyway, I watched some DTV last night. Matt, what other DTV have you been splashing around in that you didn't already mention?
So those were, I think, were the two big ones there. Yeah, I was trying to think if there's anything because what the problem is I haven't been doing much outside of the site. I did do one kind of fun one that's going to be on an upcoming episode. I did Capital Conspiracy, Don the Dragon Wilson with Fred Olen Ray, and it had been a while since I'd seen that one. It's kind of a fascinating one where he's like he's part of some like project as a kid where he's like a super soldier, and then then he's out and about
He always wanted to do a super soldier movie. He told me in the interview that I did
nice.
when we were talking about the Cyber Tracker movies. The third one, they were trying to do a third one.
Yeah.
And he said he wouldn't come back for the third one unless they made it like he wanted to do Don the Dragon Wilson versus the evil X-Men. That's what he wanted. So instead of another robot, he wanted them to be genetically bioengineered humans. And Don the Dragon Wilson has to basically fight superheroes and win, basically. But evil superheroes, supervillains.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a fucking great idea, Matt. Apparently, Pepin and Mehi, not so much. Pepin was like, it's robots or nothing, Don, hit the kids. And that's basically what Don told me. He was like, listen, I fight the X-Men or I'm out of here.
Yeah. And
Pepin was like, nobody tells me what to do. Get out, Don, sling your hook. We've got Gary Daniels waiting in the wings.
Right, Jack Scalia. He's just hanging out ready to,
We've got Jack Scalia. And Don's like,
that was T-Force. I wonder if T-Force was the one that they were originally. I wonder if that was originally supposed to be Don the Dragon Wilson, and then he said no, and they got
right, and then they went Scalia with it. That's great. Yeah. They're like, oh, Don, don't worry, we've got Anna Nicole Smith just waiting to pop her movie cherry with our PM Entertainment. The joys of it, sir. The joys of it. I'm going to be getting back into it. I'm going to be talking to Corey Eubanks tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Stuntman. And
I think Chris the Brain from Bulletproof was telling me he was watching the Pacific Blue TV show.
Yeah.
And Corey Eubanks directed an episode. So I went and looked up Corey Eubanks. So I guess he only did the one movie with them, right?
Two. He did Two Bits and Pepper as well.
Okay. Because I was curious because man, someone with his pedigree.
Sorry, the first one for listeners who don't know what I'm talking about is Bigfoot, The Unforgettable Encounter.
So he did that movie as well as what was the
Two Bits and Pepper with Joe Piscopo.
Okay. What he did like the movie.
He did a movie called Forced to Kill, which is not technically a PM film.
Okay, I got you.
It's a PM. So it was already my understanding is it was already half produced and then it was brought to PM. Because they do ultimately distribute it, but I don't think they're listed as producers. I think it's one of them where they're listed as executive producers, which is normally the ones where they made it down the road. So yes, he does do Forced to Kill. And of course, Clint Howard, who ends up in Unforgettable Encounter, is also in that as well. In fact, it shares quite a few. Matt McCoy, I think, is in.
Right.
I think there's a whole bunch of people who end up being in Bigfoot that were in Forced to Kill.
Yeah, because the thing that kind of surprised me was that he had worked with Spiro Rosatos on like Maniac Cop and Maniac
Yeah.
Cop 2. And I was like, oh, well, he's got to be doing like things like Recoil and stuff like, but he's not in those movies. He wasn't
No.
in any of those, which is, I mean, everybody else was in Recoil, it seems like. I mean,
Right.
Stahelski, Darren Prescott.
Yeah, I've got the Blu-ray waiting for me. I've got to watch the
Oh,
Blu-ray.
do you?
of
Oh,
Recoil.
nice.
I have to say, dude, the Blu-ray of Riot.
You were saying that, yes.
I mean, gorgeous.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it just looks incredible. All the winter, all the Christmas lights behind him and stuff, and the fucking guy on the motorbike on fire. Like
Right.
it's so
Such a beautiful scene.
it's so beautiful. It's I said how the way I described it was I was like it was like Spiro Rosatos went to his old self while he was making Maniac Cop 2
Right.
and said, "Hold my beer." Like he said to himself, "Oh, you've got a man on fire running through a prison cell and jumping through a wall.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. I'm going to do a guy who gets knocked down, set on fire, gets back up, gets on a motorbike, and drives down the road while still on fire." And then, of course, he goes Maniac Cop 3, where he's like, all right, I'm going to see that, hold my beer. And then he has a guy driving, like fully driving, like doing a car chase while on fire, like an entire car chase. And it's not just like, oh, they set a dummy on fire, pushed a car down a hill, and that's it. This thing goes on for like 20 minutes. It's like the third act of the movie, and the guy's on fire the whole time.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I did see Forced to Kill that Colas McKay did stunt work on that one with Eubanks, but not Rosatos. Rosatos, just like the way he pushes the envelope is just insane. And I mean the interview that you did with him was it the Sweeper episode, right? Where
Sweeper, and he's on the Rage episode as well.
That's right, the Rage one as well. Yeah, I mean the insights that he gives on all of that stuff is just, I mean, just for someone like him who is essentially it's either him or Stahelski and Darren Prescott. They're responsible for like what 90% of the best action movies of the 2010s.
No, incredible. How did we get onto this? I forget how we got onto this.
Because you mentioned you were going to be talking with Corey Eubanks.
Oh yeah, I'm talking to Corey Eubanks tomorrow. Yes, sorry, about Bigfoot.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. I've already talked to Clint Howard about it. Yeah. So the next episode of the PM Entertainment podcast, I don't know when this will come out, but hopefully by the time this comes out, the episode on Bigfoot, The Unforgettable Encounter, which will have an interview with the writer, director, and star Clint Howard. Come on now.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's some top level PM shit.
Yes, that's gonna be awesome. Yeah.
That's gonna be fantastic. Yeah, I'm just looking here. I don't even see them listed. On Forced to Kill, I do not even see like any of the usual PM guys on there. I mean, I know they go ahead and distribute it, and I know that it shares a lot of the same cast because Rance Howard, Clint Howard, I think is Matt McCoy in here somewhere? I thought
you might have been, but you're looking like you don't see Paul Volk anywhere. I don't think.
No, and Mary and Pepin are not listed either. But I mean, I have the VHS, and it is a PM VHS, but they didn't have anything to do with it.
Grant Bell is there for post-production supervisor. So he's a name that comes up a lot, right?
Yeah, but it was also interesting because we were talking to the casting agent, which I have a much longer interview with him for one of the shows. But I was talking to the casting agent from PM, who was a casting agent for years, and he was talking about Road Ends, the Dennis Hopper, Chris Sarandon thriller movie that PM, and I said to him, I was like, oh, I thought Road Ends was one like they distributed. And he went, no. Actually, it was one that kind of came in late. Like it already had Chris Sarandon attached and Dennis Hopper attached to it. It already had the writer-director attached to it, blah, 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 blah. But he was like, we definitely were out there on set for some of it. And then he said, I definitely helped cast some of the smaller roles in it. And he said, it's definitely PM's post-production. So like sometimes a movie would come to PM almost set up and financed, and they would just kind of carry it over the finish line kind of thing. Yeah. So I wonder if Forced to Kill was like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, that could be. Yeah.
But it also happens with like Amore. They distribute Amore, which has Jack Scalia in it, and then like the next year he starts showing up in PM films. So it might just be that they watch these movies and they're like, we need to get Corey Eubanks and Rance Howard back. We need that Eubanks Howard magic in the halls of PM, and then they offer him Bigfoot.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
I don't know.
Sure. Yeah,
but yeah, that's what we're covering, and it's going to be exciting, Matt. It's going to be very exciting.
Yes.
And then apart from that, I'm excited. You know, as I said, I've been watching a lot of horror movies, and my Letterboxd is full with reviews and things. I really liked Heart Eyes. I really liked Barbarian. There was a few others, but you can find me on Letterboxd at After Movie Diner.
Yeah, definitely. They should definitely check you out because, I mean, your review of Diablo was spot on. I think I gave it a like. Yeah, no. So I love Letterboxd. It's really great, and it's a great way to see what your friends are watching. But no, I'm very happy that I've eked out of the horror movie vibe, and now I'm very much into I want to watch cheeseball action films. Yeah. That's a good way to go. Well, yeah. Well, I don't know if we want to take a break, just because it's probably time for me to feed the cats. I don't know.
And then we'll get back and finish the other two.
Yeah, we'll do that. All right, perfect. That sounds good. All right.
My newest book, Mark in Sales, is available now. It follows Mark, who, over the last 10 years, has turned himself into the best possible salesperson he can be. And in that time, he's made his family rich selling cut-rate health insurance to companies that are either looking to save a few bucks or don't know any better. The problem is, he's missed out on the lives of his wife and kids, and the employees of those companies he's sold insurance to now have to deal with higher medical bills and the loss of previously covered providers. As Mark comes to understand the reality of the product he's selling and the toll his long hours at work have taken on his relationship with his family, his company gives him the promotion he's always wanted. Can he now throw away everything he's worked so hard for to make a career change? Mark in Sales takes place in the same world as Chad in Accounting and explores what it means to be an adult in modern society, from family and career obligations to making sense of a changing world as time passes more quickly. You can get it on Amazon and Kindle, Kindle Unlimited, and in paperback. The link is in the podcast description.
All right, Matt. How you doing?
Yes. All right. Perfect.
Have you ever had these, being from the Boston area? Have you ever had the Boston fruit slices?
Yes. Around the holiday, like the orange slices and things. Yes, that I've definitely, I don't know if I've had that kind before, though. I don't know if I've had those ones.
So how about this controversy, Matt? This tub, right, where all the slices were just dumped, just higgledy-piggledy, right?
Yeah.
In this, right? I think I'm pouring sugar everywhere. This was 16 ounces, right?
Yeah.
And it was $5.49. The 11-ounce pack that had the fruit slices in an intricate circle, right? $5.99.
Right. Yeah.
So wait, I get 5 ounces more fruit slices, right, in here. 5 ounces. That's a lot of fruit slices, Matt. That's at least 3 fruit slices.
Right.
I get more fruit slices for less money.
Right.
Just because they didn't have to put it in a circle.
Right.
That's mad. That's mad. But that's capitalism for you, folks.
It is. Yeah.
I got the cheaper deal. I got more things. Yeah, that's what happened, Matt. So anyway, I've just been eating some Boston fruit slices. Anyway, announce the movies. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
No
I'm talking too much. I'm sorry.
No worries. No, it's no problem. So our two movies we figured kind of going back to the PM Entertainment theme, but also us doing erotic thrillers, that we're going to do 2 C. Thomas Howell erotic thrillers from 1995. One of them is Dangerous Indiscretions. The other one is Payback. I don't know if you had a preference on which one you wanted to cover first.
Oh yeah, let's get Dangerous Indiscretion out the way. I am fascinated because you seem to be more enamored with this one than I am, but by God, this was a mess. Anyway, you go ahead, Matt. You give us the lowdown on Dangerous Indiscretion.
Yeah, I'll give a quick synopsis because I think the thing that sold me on this movie, I shouldn't say sold me because it's not like I enjoyed the movie fully, but I don't know. There's just something about when when Malcolm McDowell shows up in his double-breasted suit and just kind of starts like walking around, takes his coat off, he's got suspenders on, and he's just doing whatever stuff, like finding out that his wife's cheating on him and all that. That like I don't know. There's just something so Malcolm McDowell-y about it that part of it I liked, but yeah. I'll do a quick synopsis. So the idea of the movie is you've got this ad exec, C. Thomas Howell, who doesn't seem like he's that great with the women, but he happens to happen upon Joan Severance in a fancy grocery store, and the two of them have sex and hook up. He thinks she's divorced. He thinks she's a divorcee who has a beautiful house. Turns out she's not a divorcee. Turns out that she's married to a rich land developer played by Malcolm McDowell, and he finds out that C. Thomas Howell is the one sleeping with his wife, and he decides to make his life hell. So he smashes his car, poisons his dog with bad food, takes him to a pool hall. Somehow this Malcolm McDowell, who is like 52 years old, is able to just like throw C. Thomas Howell all over the place and beat him up and stuff. And
Thomas Howell is like, 120 and a high gale, you know what I mean? He's like a spindly goofball. Like how he ever became a sex symbol is beyond me, but okay.
Right.
I mean, no, look, he's C. Thomas Howell. I mean, the man's allowed whatever he's got given,
Yes, but essentially what C. Thomas Howell's plan is to turn the tables on him and make Malcolm McDowell's life hell. And that's essentially what the movie is, with some sex scenes between Joan Severance and C. Thomas Howell mixed in between.
This was a completely empty affair.
Yes, there's a lot wrong with this movie that I think when we talked about. Remember when we talked about? I think it was Deadly Desire or Illicit Desire. The one with Catherine Harold. I think is that her name? Or where
with
we're
Jack
like
Scalia.
Jack Scalia, and we're like, why would Jack Scalia?
One.
The tennis one, exactly. The tennis one. That's the best. Yeah, he's the security guard. And we're like, why would he go for Catherine Harold when he's getting all of these women all the time?
All the time. So much pussy. Knee deep in the stuff.
Yeah. And I think the C. Thomas Howell element for me with this one is like, why would he be bothering with Joan Severance? Like, yes, I get that Joan Severance is beautiful and anybody would be likely to be with her, but he has this beautiful woman that seems to be enamored with him.
Right, his best friend and co-worker who he's always hanging out with. Who's far.
I mean, she cares,
but she's hotter.
She's hot enough, right? I mean, she's plenty hot. I mean,
sorry, let's be clear.
Yeah.
No one's hotter than Joan Severance, but she is she's C. Thomas Howell hot, this friend.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like there's that scene where he had to move in with her, and she's like, he's like, you got to take care of my dog. You got to walk it. It was just like, wait, what? She's just going to walk your dog? And she's like laying on the couch, and she looks fantastic with the dog lying with her and everything. It's like, how can he not look at that and be like, that sequence, that scene, I shouldn't say that meaning, I don't mean that as like meaning her. I mean, that is like that scene.
This is also a character. Let's not forget, right? This is a character who's so monumentally dumb.
Right.
Is that he hasn't realized, right, that the one thing Malcolm McDowell did was hide. Like when he destroyed his car, Malcolm McDowell was nowhere to be seen. When his house was broken into, there was no evidence that it was Malcolm McDowell. When C. Thomas Howell's like, oh, I'm going to play 4D chess and get back at Malcolm McDowell, what does that mean? That just means that he just rocks up as C. Thomas Howell in all of the places that Malcolm McDowell's in, and just C. Thomas Howell's all over the place. And I'm just like, this isn't clever. It's not stealthy. It's not it. Like, also, it's mad that they end up making the actual environmental friendly video. That's mad that he hires him to make a video. And even after he knows that he fucked his wife and he's come after him and he's destroyed his car, Howell is still making the video. Like, that's mad. How is that in this movie?
Remember, he's making the video because his boss, who runs the ad agency, what's the line that Malcolm McDowell would tattoo a duck on his back and make him quack or something like that?
He says, He says, Malcolm McDowell will tattoo a duck on your back and it'll quack every time he whistles.
That's right.
What does
That's
that
right.
mean?
That's
Where
right.
did you pull that from,
Right.
C. Thomas?
There's some dialogue in this that's just all over. Like it starts off with a voiceover with a voiceover and it ends with a voiceover from him. But then there's that moment where he's sleeping with Joan Severance the first time, and he's like telling her who she is. He's like, well, you came from this place into this place, and you did this and you did that, and then you did this and did that. And she's just sitting there smoking a cigarette really awkwardly, like she's never smoked like she looks like when you see like movies now where you have like a Gen Z kid smoking a cigarette and they've never touched a cigarette and they don't know what they're doing. But she's Joan Severance. She was born in 1958. Like she should know how to smoke a cigarette. But she's just kind of awkward. And he's just like, and then you were doing this, and then you were doing that, and it was all this
Never
kind
met
of
a man who didn't want to sleep with you. Your
right.
father's friends, blah blah
Exactly.
blah.
Yeah.
You probably fucked your way up the top. Blah,
Right.
blah, blah.
Right. Exactly.
And he was
Right.
playing it. And you know, right? Joan Severance, like people who deserve fucking Oscars, right?
Right.
Joan Severance, because she makes you believe that she would ever in a bazillion years fuck this gangly hairstyle who just loves it. He's like, especially in this movie, right? And this is my main problem with Dangerous Indiscretion. The reason why I did not enjoy it as much as Payback is Dangerous Indiscretion like believes in itself, and it's so dumb. It's so catastrophically stupid.
Right.
And everyone in it is just completely stupid. The fact that it believes in itself, and it's like, no, this is a self-contained, compelling drama with, you know, this nation and Britain's finest actors on display.
Right.
It takes itself so ridiculously seriously. Something like Unlawful Entry doesn't even take itself as seriously as this movie. It's just so po-faced and nonsensical. And so the fact that Joan Severance in this like sort of boring, serious malaise of this film convinces me that she would even give him a second glance while wearing a sexy walnut sweater in a bakery, happily, sexually chugging on croissants or whatever. Like, the fact that she convinces me, all right, I guess these two are a steamy item. She deserves all of the Oscars. She carries these movies like a fuck ton. It's ridiculous.
Yes. Well, I would say the one person who doesn't seem like he's taking himself that seriously is Malcolm McDowell, because he seems
right. No, you're right.
Like that's the one thing is I would say if I was the person making this and I wanted this to be a deadly serious thing, and I see Malcolm McDowell's performance in this movie, I would be like, man, he fucked me. Like he just completely screwed me.
I think the director probably felt that because I think the director thought he was making a compelling work of art.
Yeah.
Everyone else thought he was. Where he's like, yeah, we're gonna make him a senator who's like sarcastic about helping the environment. That'll be edgy. That'll be dark and twisted. Wait, he makes the video. What? And then he's like, oh, magically tacks on a piece of video that he took of him trying to bribe another guy. And you're like, what? I know this wasn't your plan all along. And like the video is just Malcolm McDowell picking plastic up off a beach and being like, I think it's the time that we're all environmentalists. I'm like, what is this? He makes the video, Matt. What kind of plot point is this movie trying to tell me?
No. And I mean, like Malcolm McDowell, it seems like every scene that Malcolm McDowell's in, he's like trying not to stop, trying to keep himself from smirking, right? Like he's delivering this dialogue. And I think that's to your point about with Joan Severance, is that while Malcolm McDowell is delivering this dialogue and he's like smirking and just thinking about the kitchen island he's going to, renovate with the money he's making from this film or whatever it is, right?
I love tonight on CBS, Malcolm McDowell renovates his kitchen island.
Right, exactly. So he's doing that. C. Thomas Howell is dead serious.
Property Brothers.
Right, Brothers. Right.
They're just like, we're going to sand down these cupboards. Sorry,
exactly,
go ahead.
Exactly, no, but Joan Severance is selling it, right?
Oh,
the same way that Malcolm McDowell is not selling it, and I'm enjoying him not selling it. I agree with you. You've got to appreciate Severance selling it.
Yeah. Oh no, she sells it and she sells it hard.
Yeah.
And listen, can you imagine being Joan Severance in 1995 and being like, God, I did that C. Thomas Howell movie. Thank goodness I don't have to do that again. And the very next movie, it's like, are me and Howell some kind of erotic thriller staple now? Do I have to do more movies with him?
Right.
Yes,
Right.
you have to do one more in 1998 called Matter of Trust.
That's right. Yeah, they were there. Yeah,
Directed by Joey Travolta of PM Entertainment fame.
right. You gotta love the trip. Yeah, so I wonder if they met doing the PM movies. Because this movie in 1995, these two movies are both 1995, and it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, that is the thing with Joan Severance. Like, I think that's to your point. This is probably the thing that wasn't working for me. I was trying to figure out because C. Thomas Howell has that opening scene with Suki Kaiser from Cyberjack, Virtual Assassin, and he has that opening scene where I thought Suki Kaiser was going to be in the movie more. She meets him and she's just like, this guy's a yutz. I'm getting out of here.
Right.
He's really awkward when he's like trying to flirt with her. He's like yelling at his dog, like attack, dog. The dog doesn't, it's like, he's like really awkward. And she's just like, okay, I'll see you later. And we think like, maybe that's what it is. Like, he's just awkward or whatever. And it's like, like the point that Joan Severance would like see Thomas Howell being awkward in the grocery store and be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to have sex with that guy.
Right.
But then on the other hand, with him being so awkward with women, he's getting turned down by Suki Kaiser. It also makes no sense that his work partner would be so smitten with him, and he wouldn't be like, I don't want to say low hanging fruit, but he wouldn't be like, okay, this is easy enough. She wants to be with me. I don't have to work hard to.
Also, I'm trying to remember the ending. Again, I just watched this last night, so this will tell you all you need to know about this film. But like, there's no twist, right?
No, it turned out there was no twist. Like, she wasn't in cahoots with anybody. Yeah.
The movie just is. He fucked his wife. Didn't know that she was married, but Joan Severance really fucks him. Like, it's not like Joan Severance, like in Payback. There's questions at the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
but like Dangerous Indiscretion, like it's factual, right? So he just like there's no twist in the movie, and this is what I mean. Again, like, it didn't even understand the rules of erotic thrillers. Like, it didn't even do, like, erotic thrillers are the easiest fucking thing to do. And it didn't even do it right. Like, they should have got Harry Hamlin on the phone and been like, Harry, can you come and consult on this thing? And he'd be like, well, first of all, you need a lot more baby oil. That's your first thing. More baby oil, right? Secondly, definitely have a scene with a two-way mirror. Has to happen. Thirdly, where's the saxophone? Get the saxophone.
Well,
you know what I mean? There was so many things.
For a second. We get a tease. We get a sax tease in this movie.
Right. We get a sax tease.
Yes.
That's why I hate this fucking movie.
Right.
At one point, Severance, queen of these 90s sleaze fests, right?
Yeah.
Like, on high, anointed. She legit, like, although some might call her a softcore actress because she did a lot of movies where she had sex scenes in it, they're all more legitimate movies than, say, the actual like sex softcore movies that would be on Skinamax. They were even a notch below what Severance was doing. I feel like Severance legitimized the erotic thriller beyond the kind of Skinamax or Fred Olen Ray of it all. I think she kind of like legitimized it for a moment, for a blip. In the 90s, I feel like she legitimized it. And so it's just I feel like the fact that this just doesn't work because there's nowhere for anyone to go. Like, C. Thomas Howell is an annoying floppy haired mid-90s. He wishes he was in a Kevin Smith indie film. Ad exec, whatever, who's some wonderkind who walks around in, flappy coats and just walks in with his flappy hair and his flappy coat and goes, how about this commercial? Boom. Thank you. $1 million next. Yet also he wants to be the sort of poor, struggling, lives in a rent-controlled apartment with his old mangy dog kind of guy. And I'm like, no, you don't get to be like a wunderkind ad exec, but then at the same time, like a down on your luck guy who lives with a dog and whatever. But he does, because it's 1995, and C. Thomas Howell, by God, if we know anything about C. Thomas Howell and his movie, oh my God, the PM movie that he does,
The Sweeper?
Nope, the other one.
Oh, Pure Danger?
Pure Danger. Thank you so much, Matt. If we know anything from C. Thomas Howell and the movie Pure Danger, it's that he has watched some Tarantino, Matt. Yes. He is well aware of the early 90s Miramax rise of the indie giants, and he wants in badly. So the beginning of this movie, he's just like, well, I'm going to be a floppy head ad exec who's also down on his luck and hangs out in pool halls. And we'll have like Malcolm McDowell in. And Malcolm McDowell's kind of like a Tarantino-esque kind of casting. You can imagine QT on one of his days being like, hey, maybe I resurrect Malcolm McDowell's career. Too late. Richard Kletter got there before you with Dangerous Indiscretion. Giving Malcolm McDowell, you are right. He is a joy in this movie. He's basically Nicholson's Joker in this movie, is what he is. If Nicholson's Joker was like a regular guy,
Right. Yeah. I mean, to your point about the saxophone, is that like, there's a second.
oh
There's a
shoot!
scene
Yes, I didn't finish. Oh my God, that's where we started. I'm so
Right.
sorry.
It's okay,
I didn't
don't
finish
worry.
that. I lost my train of thought. Yes. Joan Severance, queen of these particular movies, elevating the movies, pulling them out from the B tier, bringing them into straight to video, giving them a little legitimizing. She knows better than anyone that what we crave is saxophone. And in this movie, she goes into fucking C. Thomas Howell's apartment. She goes, what is this? He goes, it's a paperweight. She picks up a gorgeous gold saxophone and plays it. She just gives us some sleazy ba-da-da-da-da-da-da, like on the saxophone. And I'm like, oh my God, please tell me the rest of the movie is scored by Joan Severance playing the saxophone half naked. Because if that isn't the movie I'm about to watch, Richard Kletter, you're a fool. And sure enough, she plays that little like bluesy riff and never again. And that made me hate this movie so much.
The worst tease I think I've ever seen in a movie before. I was trying to think of other movies that have had bad teases in them, where like maybe you see an actor for a second, then you never see them again, or there's an idea of two guys fighting that, like I think like another Seagal movie, Submerged, that has Gary Daniels in it, and apparently Seagal, when it came to the two of them fighting, Seagal's like, well, I just have to beat the crap out of him. That's the only thing I'm going to do. He didn't want to have an actual fight,
Right.
And it's there was that tease.
Submerged, which is directed by Anthony Hickox, who directs the second movie, Payback. Yeah.
That's a good point. But I think this was worse because, again, like you said, we're in the erotic thriller milieu, and we know that we want that kind of music playing in the background.
We do. We want it all the time.
Yes. And the queen of these movies picks up the saxophone, and you think, I mean, it's better than like when Wings Hauser's playing it. It's like, it's like, this is beyond. It's like a dream come true. And it's like, you get a second of it, and then that's it.
Not only that, Matt, but fucking Kletter has the camera on Howell. Doesn't even have the camera on Severance.
Right. It's So
it was such a tease. It would be like Severance breezing past you in an airport and you getting a lung full of her perfume while Busker over in the corner played Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty on the saxophone. And she just winked right at you. And you were thinking, wait, am I in it? Am I in with Severance? Is Severance beckoning me? Yeah. And then like her incredibly handsome footballer Italian boyfriend comes out of the bathroom and they kiss or whatever and walk away. And you just go, fuck, I thought I was in with Severance then. And I got her musk all over me. I was ready to pounce. And no, her, Eric Cantona or someone comes out of the bathroom and just sweeps her away. Some exotic foreign European footballer. Either that or some sort of swarthy South American footballer who comes out of some attractive athlete, 20 years her junior, comes out. And he's, by the way, Matt, he's lucky to be with her. Lucky to be with her.
Yes.
Yes, he's a handsome, sexy, young athlete, but he's lucky to be with the queen of 90s, I would say, upscale erotica, Joan Severance. Although what she's doing slumming in this fucking movie, I have no idea.
No, there's this commercial that used to run here in America with this European football star. I can't remember. I think he was Dutch. I can't remember his name, but he had like this long, this beautiful mane of hair. Yeah. And I think the commercial was for like a shampoo. And so like I remember the opening, shows him like kind of like in this black,
If you want this kind of hair, be Dutch.
Yeah,
otherwise you're fucked.
Right. He says something along the lines. He's like, I'm a footballer, and it's just like, and it was like kind of this thing in America. Of course, we always call it soccer. So to hear him to be like, I'm a footballer, and then he's like, and when I do my hair, I do this, it's just like this video. And I was like, this is the best, the footballer. He's I am
a footballer, and I eat a surprising amount of toasted cheese sandwiches.
Exactly. I ended up my free writes that I used to do with this Boston like confirmed bachelor dandy guy and his Norwegian companion Mads, they had a character called I created this character called the Footballer. It's like a European football guy that they were friends with. And like one time, he takes them to Bulgaria because he was like coaching a soccer team there, football team there.
Was
and
he
like,
dating Joan Severance at the time?
no, I never thought to include that part. Like that would have been the best, as if she was, if he was dating. Yeah, he should have been. So yeah,
but no, I think what's weird about it, Matt, is that while PM Entertainment obviously gave C. Thomas his time to shine, his dalliances in erotic thrillers, he's the most out of place in both films.
Yes,
he's so desperately trying to be someone he's not.
Yeah, well, because the thing with this movie is it wouldn't have worked with Scalia in the lead or with Hamill in the lead. Like it needed to be somebody younger than her,
right?
But I was like, who would that actor be that would be like, because C. Thomas Howell's about, I think he's like 8 years younger, whereas like Scalia is 8 years older, and some of his other names are, but like it did need to be somebody different, right? Like it needed to be,
right, because you believed her being with Malcolm McDowell more than you believed her being with C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah, exactly.
You believe like at least Malcolm McDowell has the accent, the power, the charisma, the money. He has the suspenders. He has all of the things. Exactly. He has the Gordon Gekko. So he goes to pool halls, Matt, and knocks C. Thomas Howell about.
Right.
Any woman would be a fool not to be with Malcolm McDowell, but instead she's going to throw on a white bought in a catalog wool sweater, probably modeled by someone up on a Scottish highland or something. And she's going to take it to a bakery, eat croissants, and get him all horned up.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to think, it's like, I was trying to think maybe from that era, like who else would have worked? Like, cause like somebody else that would have been around that time would have been Judd Nelson, who I think is a little bit older than him, but I don't think he would have worked in that role either. I don't think I would have bought Judd Nelson.
Nelson looks wise would work, but performance wise, having watched like Lake by a Cabin, which is a two made for TV horror movies that Judd Nelson made. He made Lake by the Cabin by Lake 1 and Cabin by Lake 2, Deep Waters.
Right, yes, yeah.
And they are.
Oh yeah, they're absurd. Yeah, they're like USA originals. I think they went right to USA. They are
so bad. The sequel, he wears like a long wig and a mustache.
Yeah.
And tries to convince us that people making his character's life story, wouldn't recognize him in a wig. Like that's the whole concept of the second movie.
Right, yeah.
Having watched those, as much as I love Judd Nelson in Breakfast Club and About Last Night, St. Elmo's Fire and Breakfast Club, as much as I love him in those two movies, I don't think he had the chops. I really don't think he had the chops.
Yeah, I don't know who from that age, because again, somebody born in the mid '60s, one of those actors from that Brat Pack era or kind of around that time.
What about a slumming it Charlie Sheen? What is Charlie Sheen doing in 95?
Yeah, because he still would have been a big enough star, right? That he would have still been big enough. Robert Downey Jr. still would have been big enough. James Spader probably would have just been too sleazy.
Spader, no. Stop the presses. Okay. 1995, James Spader with Joan Severance. This movie would burn up. They would put this movie on the shelves of the local mom and pop shop, and it would just ignite. James Spader and Joan Severance. Come on now. That's giving ejaculations to everyone in a 3-state radius of that movie.
Yeah.
Just by existing.
The problem maybe with anybody but C. Thomas Howell is that Malcolm McDowell can't throw. Like he would, like, can you imagine him like trying to grab James Spader? He'd like go to grab him and it would be like, it just would shrug him off. Like, what do you,
well, he's James Spader. His hair would defend him.
Right.
His hair would just flap McDowell out the way. Because we're going back to 1985 Spader. We're going back
exactly.
To
That's a good point. Yeah.
Stargate era sex symbol Spader. Don't forget, like, what's always funny is like the first episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Charisma Carpenter says to Buffy, Sarah Michelle Gellar, like, James Spader, and then Sarah Michelle Gellar goes, totally needs to like get in my car or something like that, or totally needs to be in my phone book or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I understand it was written by a guy, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is basically saying these teenage girls are horned up for 1996 or whenever that came out, Spader. Right. So we're talking like height of his powers, Spader, with height of her powers, Joan Severance.
Right.
and a Malcolm McDowell as the Joker playing Gordon Gekko
Oh,
character. Come on, there wouldn't be a dry seat from here to Nantucket.
right. I mean, the thing is that you wouldn't have the you wouldn't have the dynamic of the one guy, the guy being younger, right? Because
Right.
they're roughly the same. I think he's like a few years younger than her, so they would have been in high school roughly together. But by that point, they're
Yeah.
both,
Well,
whereas
I
like
think he could play younger.
yeah, he could play younger. But I think to your point, I mean, that scene, the kind of the post-coitus scene where
Yeah.
C. Thomas Howell's ranting about about telling,
Yeah.
Joan Severance who she is while she's smoking the awkward cigarette.
Imagine Spader delivering
Oh,
that monologue.
yeah, I don't even know if he would deliver it. He would have just been like playing with her hair awkwardly and
He'd be
like
purring.
touching her.
He'd be
Yeah.
purring.
Oh yeah. It would be like the best. Yeah. That's, I mean, I guess maybe that James Spader would have commanded too much in '95. I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, I would have been all over this with a
Yeah.
1995 James Spader, and I
Oh.
think James Spader would be very happy to be all over Joan Severance.
Oh, and this. Oh, yes. Oh,
And,
yeah.
but he would only in interviews he would only talk about his reverence for Malcolm McDowell, and that
Right.
Joan Severance was very lovely and patient with him.
Yeah.
But in outside of interviews, in the real like lizard part of Spader's brain, he would just be like, "I'm gonna plop on her like a landed fish and wriggle, baby, wriggle." Like that's gonna be his. That's his like sleazy little mantra that he has in his head. You know what I mean? Whereas the weird thing about Thomas Howell in both movies, there's this weird like I hate to say it, but like there's a weird like rapey vibe about
Oh, yes. More
about
so in the second
beginning
one.
of both sex scenes.
Yeah, definitely more in the second one, but even in this, yeah. And again, I think that's something that Spader plays better, right? Is that he's just sort of like, just sort of this creepy kind of character.
Well, Spader, you assume that the woman is consenting because it's Spader.
Right,
You just assume that when Spader shows up, a woman is like, it doesn't matter where I am and what relationship I'm in. I am open for business. James Spader is my hall pass, and nobody gets that. And the man, listen, if you're going to be cuckolded by someone, right? James Spader is the only man on the planet Earth that I would let cuckold me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, right?
I got you. Yeah, so
You
I know.
got me, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you put Spader in a movie, instantly, it doesn't matter. Like Joan Severance, she's not even playfully resisting.
Right.
She's on him before he's on her. Like
Right.
it's like
yeah.
James Spader's magnetism. We're talking 1995, Matt. Prime sexual peak Spader.
Yeah.
Floppy head. Because what it is? When does Stargate come out? It's around
It was around that time. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Come on now.
Oh.
Stargate Spader all over Severance like a rash. Oh, you'd watch that movie in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the thing, right? We would have already, you would have already covered it on Sleazy Spader Springtime.
I wouldn't have existed, Matt. My head would have exploded.
Right. Yeah.
I would watch 10 minutes of it and it would just be too hot.
That's it. Yeah.
Be too hot.
Yeah.
Spader and Severance, come on now.
Yeah. No.
The whole they put the trailer through the projector in a cinema, and the cinema would be lit on fire.
Right. Exactly.
Another death today as the Dangerous Indiscretion trailer starring James Spader and Joan Severance killed a theater of people who were trying to watch the latest C. Thomas Howell hit, Payback, also starring.
Right, exactly.
C. Thomas Howell sat at home being like, why wasn't I in Dangerous Indiscretion? All my copies of Payback are burning up because they keep playing the trailer before my movie.
Right.
But no, so Dangerous Indiscretion, very great. Like, it tries to be like a 90s indie thing. It tries to be a 90s erotic thriller. It tries to be like a, C. Thomas Howell gets one over on Malcolm McDowell, but he doesn't. He just, anyone would be like, oh, who was it at the party? He was like kicking things and breaking stuff and whatever.
Right, yes,
C. Thomas Howell. Who was it? Who was smashing my car in blatantly on my house camera that I have on my house? Oh, it's C. Thomas Howell. Who showed up at the party with all my important donors and everything and like locked his way in the control room and played like bribery tapes over the thing? Oh, C. Thomas Howell. C. Thomas Howell would be in prison for years. Even if Malcolm McDowell was proved to be a crazy person, he'd be in prison for years. It's such a, and then the movie went nowhere. There was no twist, no nothing. Like,
No. Yeah, that's the biggest part is that there's no twist. And I think the fact that Joan Severance was just Joan Severance, or her character was just her character, that
Right.
she wasn't like trying to use Howell to kill her
Well,
husband
again,
or
nobody has a character arc in this movie.
yeah, no, no. And I mean, the one I wanted to have the character was his assistant.
Right.
She was the best, and I should probably say her name because I keep calling her the assistant. But Sulika Matthew was the actor's name.
Yeah, great. She was
Yeah,
fantastic. And
yeah,
that's like they should have figured it out where
yeah,
maybe Severance double crosses Howell,
yeah,
right? And then Howell kills them both,
yeah,
but on accident. Somehow he's able to inherit their son,
yeah.
and then him and the assistant and the son start their own marketing agency for men who think that it's a wise idea when posing for the cover of the movie they're in, wear a long sleeve t-shirt and a waistcoat. What, like he's wearing a waistcoat, and this was a 90s thing. I did it. I'm not too proud to admit it. In the 90s, I did it. I wore waistcoats or suit vests, whatever you call
The
them
suit,
over here.
yes, the bet. Yeah, yeah,
I wore suit vests over long sleeve t-shirts. I
yeah.
kind of like the look, but you
Right.
can't get away with it anymore. It's just not something you can do. It's just not
No.
possible. Like if you saw someone doing it now, you would run over to them in the street and be like, "By God, man, what are you doing? Get inside quickly."
I remember my friend Petrowski, who I've mentioned on here before. He was going to be a bartender. He's probably going to hate that I'm telling this story, but he wanted to be a bartender. You took class and everything, so he was going for jobs. And we were at the thrift store. He saw these black vests. He's like, "Oh, these would be perfect for being a bartender." So he puts the black vest on over kind of a oversized like white button-up shirt that's kind of a little bit puffy on the shoulders, and then he had black pants. So he shows up to my other friend Mike, also listening to Mike Palis. He says to the two of us, he's like, "Hey, I'm getting ready for my bartender." We're like, "Dude, you look like Han Solo. Like, what are you doing?" And he did. He looked exactly. And so of course, he ended up not getting the job. But it's like But
Why wouldn't they want to hire Han Solo?
right, well, because they want to hire actual Han Solo. They want to hire someone who's dressed like him, I guess. But it's
Right.
But he was like, "Oh, this black vest is perfect for being a bartender." And I was like, "Where did you get that from?" Like, I don't. It's like his
Yeah.
bartender attire.
Well, probably from the front cover of Dangerous Indiscretion. He probably saw C. Thomas Howell wearing it. It was like,
Exactly.
well, he's with Joan Severance. I mean, Joan Severance is allowing the suit vest to be pressed against her body.
Right.
It's giving men hope everywhere, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that's the thing about Joan Severance when she's in these movies is that she knows how to
She
play.
represents hope.
She plays these characters in a way that not only makes it so we believe that anybody would be attracted to her, but she plays it this way like she knows what men find attractive, and she kind of just plays up all of those parts in the movie. The way she looks at the characters, the way she the way she walks and talks and does all these things. It's like she knows it and she plays it all to the hilt. And I think it she gives suit vest guys false sense of hope because
Time of day, yeah, full sense of hope. Her and Susan Sarandon should have done a movie where they played sisters.
yeah.
Can you imagine Sarandon and Severance just steaming up the joint all over the place?
Right. Yes.
Bosoms heaving and flapping about. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Exactly.
Wonderful, Matt. Unfortunately, that's not what Dangerous Indiscretion is. Dangerous Indiscretion is a movie where occasionally you get the jolt of joy of seeing Malcolm McDowell for 30 seconds.
Right. Yes.
And then the rest of the movie, you're wondering what the fuck C. Thomas Howell is up to. Because he's the dumbest man in the history of dumb men. And the only way that this movie can end, because I'm remembering now, is just to literally cut to the credits. Because if they actually had to explain what happened after Joan Severance killed Malcolm McDowell and C. Thomas Howell was there and the dog and everything else, if they actually had to explain that she would be like on the hook for murder, and C. Thomas Howell would probably be on the hook for being an accomplice because he keeps showing up in very public places and making a loud hullabaloo, like Steven Seagal in Pistol Whipped. Just walks right into the restaurant and it's just like, "I didn't like what you said to the waitress," and starts throwing tables across the room and shooting people in the chest. This is the guy who's going to leave the hotel like he's a ghost. Like a ghost, he just flipped a table over in a restaurant and shot several patrons. And they're just like, yeah, he can sneak in and out of anywhere. Well, that's what this movie is. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree completely. Well, yeah, I mean, because you're right. Like, I think the Malcolm McDowell element of it helps, but I mean, the fact that, like you said, there's no twist. The story kind of is what it is, but also the unbelievability. It's that same. These movies need to have a believability. Like when you think of so it wasn't Deadly Desire, the one that where Scalia and Robert Davi, was in it, and it was like
with Severance.
with Severance, yeah, and was it so Deadly Desire was it
Not like illicit behavior or something, is it?
Yeah, I think it was illicit behavior. That's what it was called. And because that's the problem with these titles is that they're so like kind of slapped together that it's like hard to keep them straight because they're all different things. But I think that's what it is. Is I think in that one it's believable because you're like, well, of course Robert Davi is going to fall for Joan Severance and do whatever she wants him to do.
Right.
You need an element like that. Like you need it to be more the other way around, where like, of course, it's, as opposed to Joan Severance falling for C. Thomas Howell.
Illicit behavior.
That's what, yeah. So she should be manipulating him, and us, because that was kind of the sense that I was getting, was the fact that he gets turned down by Suki Kaiser. So I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to get manipulated by Joan Severance, but none of that stuff happens.
No, it just was like, I'm going to ruin your life. Well, I'm going to ruin your life. Well, yeah. I'm going to try and shoot your dog. Well, my wife's going to shoot me. Oh, end of movie. And you're like, don't know why any of that was needed.
Right, exactly.
I got to the end of it. I was like, because here's the thing, Matt, right? When you get to the end of a movie called Mafia, you look at that and you go, I understand that director so much. I understand what he was trying to do. I understand what he thought he was doing. I understand like what he thought were amazing performances by all these people in the movie. I watched it and I was like, God, I feel like I empathize so much with this guy. Like he really fucking tried. And all of it fails, but he really tried, right?
Right.
And he was able to get Ving Rhames and Pam Grier, and he really tried. You get to the end of this one, you're like, I can't even justify it existing. I don't even know why anyone showed up. I don't know what it was that anyone thought they were doing here, but it wasn't anything of any interest to anyone at all. I don't even think the director likes the movie. I don't believe that anyone in this film cares about this movie at all, except maybe C. Thomas Howell, because he gets to fake boink Joan Severance, and that's probably a joy for him,
Yeah. No, I think the best way to describe this is, Ty was talking about when in Connecticut, he met Zach Galligan at an event, and Zach Galligan was telling a story about how he did Cyborg 3, The Recycler, with Malcolm McDowell. But they didn't really have any scenes or whatever. Then he met Malcolm McDowell later, and he was telling him, like, I did a movie with you. And he's like, oh, what was the movie? And he goes, Cyborg 3, The Recycler. And Malcolm McDowell goes, oh, dear.
Yeah.
I feel like if anybody came up to him about this movie, he'd do the same thing. He'd be like, oh, dear.
Yeah, C. Thomas Howell comes up to him and goes, hey, Malcolm, remember we were in a movie together. Which one? Dangerous Indiscretion. Is that the one that was filmed in Canada, dear boy? Yes. Oh, dear.
So, yeah.
I worked with Kubrick, and now I'm in Canada with C. Thomas Howell. It makes no sense. This movie, we have given this movie entirely too much airtime, really.
I think you're right.
I think we should get on to Payback.
Let's get on to Payback. Yeah. So
I think it's a lot more fun, Matt. I enjoyed it a lot more.
It automatically starts off. So the way Dangerous Indiscretion starts off with like this scene of him at the beach and being really awkward with Suki Kaiser that doesn't go anywhere, and Suki Kaiser's never there again. This movie starts off with, we get a guy on the street, full punk regalia, right, with the spike orange hair and all that stuff. He walks over to a convertible where there's two punks also making out. We find out one of the punks is C. Thomas Howell.
Yeah,
he looks like Johnny Knoxville.
Yeah, he looks like he looks like if Johnny Knoxville was doing a parody of Sid and Nancy,
right.
For the guys who make those movies that are called like superhero movie or date movie or whatever.
Right.
That's what he looks like.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah, it's the funniest. Like, C. Thomas Howell is a punk guy. It's the funniest opening to any film that's ever existed.
Right, that's so beautiful. Well, the robbery goes bad.
He's because they're all idiots.
Right, exactly.
They're all idiots. The guy runs in. No one's wearing masks. No one's talked about a plan. No one has any idea what's going on. He runs in. he goes, you know, this is a stick up or whatever. And C. Thomas Howell literally, and I've never seen anyone in a movie like this, leans around the guy, goes, yeah. Like, and I'm like, what is that? That's literally out of a comic book. That's literally like, you know, the bully in Archie comics or whatever. It was just like, I'm going to kick your butt. And the guy behind him was like, yeah, you know, like, so the movie, and you're just like, what is going on? No one's planned anything. Next thing you know, the bodega owner is whipping out a shotgun,
Right.
and just fucking laying waste to mothers in his own liquor store.
Right. These blown up bags of chips. He's like shooting them. Yeah.
So
And
many
so,
bags of chips. And everything puffs into like a big stream of sand for some reason. Like he shoots at C. Thomas Howell, right? No, he shoots at the blonde head guy, hits the blonde guy in the chest. And as the blonde guy flies back, all of these like bags of pasta and cans of soup erupt in like dust. It's so weird, isn't it, Matt?
the whole thing was weird.
Great.
So he ends up in prison for this because that's what would happen. We get this bad prison guard who I know of. This guy's the actor's name is Marshall Bell. I know of him from a series of I think it's John Hancock Bank or some bank in Boston. I think it's John Hancock or something. But he was playing John Hancock, and then they had other like revolutionary figures in the commercial. And they're essentially telling like modern people about banking, you know, like, oh, you know,
Really?
yeah. And that's what I recognize this guy from. But anyway, he's a bad prison guard who's beating people up. And there's a guy in there named Matt.
Well, he's Georgian Quato from Total Recall.
That's right. That's the other
and he's
thing.
Mr. LaChance in Stand By Me. That's what I.
Oh, that's probably the bigger one. Yeah, the Stand By Me one. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, so he, what happens is there's this guy, Mac, an older guy who's got money hidden somewhere. The guard's trying to beat it out of him. He said he won't give it up, but he does tell C. Thomas Howell, or he gives him a sense of where it could be or something like that. Gives him a hint, or I don't know what it is exactly. But because actually, no, I don't know what happens there because the guard is trying to beat it out of him where the money is. But he sort of outlasts him, and the guard ends up getting in a car accident, is crippled, whatever, So C. Thomas Howell eventually gets out of prison. And
we don't know that. We only know once he happens upon his diner that he's been blinded in a car accident.
He's been blinded in the car, right? Exactly. Well, the guard tells him he was crippled in the accident, I guess, or he was injured. Couldn't be a guard anymore. But yeah. So C. Thomas Howell is supposed to be trying to get the money, but also is supposed to kill this guard for his friend Mac. But of course, he, as everybody would in these movies, he's married to Joan Severance. And so now, C. Thomas Howell's got to figure out, like, well, I got a thing for Joan Severance, but should I also, kill this guy and get this money? And he's kind of lurking around with his Fu Manchu mustache. We've also got a creepy cop played by Richard Burgi. So he's hanging around as well. But yeah, at least this one has some twists and turns, right? This has some things happening in it.
What was the thought behind his mustache?
Yeah,
C. Thomas Howell's mustache. Who said that was a good idea?
Yeah, they thought because he was an ex-con that would be a good ex-con mustache. I
don't know. Were ex-cons known for? I mean, sure, if the ex-con also happened to be in the Village People, then maybe you would have a mustache like that. Maybe if you were the bassist for Spinal Tap, that would be a suitable mustache. But being a convict who's going to have to rub his face in Joan Severance's privates while being covered in flour and other kitchen accoutrement, then I don't want a mustache. I want a mustache as far away from that sequence as humanly possible. And what do I get, Matt? I get mustache. I get full-blown mustache on bush in the sequence, and I'm not ready for it, Matt. I'm disturbed by it, and I'm not happy with Anthony Hickox for making me contemplate it.
No, I don't know which is worse, the Fu Manchu mustache with the love scenes with Joan Severance in this, or the goatee in Sweeper when he's doing the love scenes there, and it's like almost like this hairy animal is attacking the woman.
That's a good question. Which level of C. Thomas Howell facial hair is worse? Right?
Yeah.
Is it the goatee or is it the mustache? I think the mustache has got to take it.
It is right. Yeah. It's just,
you know what I mean?
because you can't take him seriously, because they have all these scenes of him making these serious faces with the mustache, and
Yeah,
they're,
it
they're
just doesn't
zooming
work.
in on him and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and you just can't do any of that stuff with that.
Yeah, the C. Thomas Howell mustache. However, one thing I will say, Anthony Hickox knows his way around directing a B movie.
Yes, yeah,
I mean, Anthony Hickox. First of all, this looks 8 times better than Indiscretion, whatever it was called.
yeah, Deadly Indiscretion, yeah.
Yeah, that Dangerous Indiscretion looked like it was filmed on cheap camcorder. This looks like it was filmed on film with a cinematographer who knew what he was doing or whatever. And they are ratcheting up the Americana at every possible turn. We've got a baby blue shiny Cadillac outside an old school diner. She's skipping about in a skimpy pink 1950s diner waitress outfit. C. Thomas Howell is rocking the 70s porn stash, and kind of hovering about. There's barns and farmyards and hazy smoke in the distance, and just everything about it just oozes lust in the dust. You know what I mean? It just oozes an Americana orgy. And it's, I have to say, the Anthony Hickox does everything he can to make this an entertaining movie. And I would have to say the first act and the third act, I'm pretty much entertained. It's the sort of stodgy middle act where I'm like, well, this doesn't really make sense. In fact, I think what's upsetting about it, because both of the sex scenes are like legitimately great sex scenes for 2 completely different reasons, but both the sex scenes in the movie are legitimately great sex scenes. And Joan Severance is definitely giving both her all, right? As is C. Thomas Howell, but in a much creepier way.
Right.
But they're doing their best. I mean, it's fairly energetic, let's say. However, they almost get away with the back-to-back sex scenes, but then as it kind of eases into like the rest of the day, and then wandering around, they wander around a graveyard at one point or something, around a swamp or something. She takes him to where the car accident happened or something, and is talking about this, all that stuff, and then them coming back, and then the cop beating him up because the cop believes that he's like, all this stuff is just, you're treading water. You need to cut from they get home from the sex scene to his friend from the prison waiting, because that's the bit that ties everything together. There's like 2 or 3 scenes in the middle between his friend getting to prison and like fucking up his plans, the cab driver guy, who's going to fuck up his plans, and him and Joan Severance going at it on a bed of flour. The scenes in between those, I would jettison those and like tighten that up, because I really think that apart from that, you've got some good movie, even if, again, it falls prey to C. Thomas Howell is just an idiot. Like, he just plays characters who make all the wrong boneheaded decisions.
Well, because the big thing with the police officer played by Richard Burgi is that we think that he's going to play a part in the story. But all he does is he chases Howell after Howell finds the money. Yeah. He chases him, and Howell knocks him off the road, and he blows up his car and dies, and he's done.
Right. And isn't that the weirdest scene? He hits, it's like he's on the highway, you see the car hit, and then this car like flips into what looks like a map painting of a random rock formation, where you're like, well, that doesn't, what is that? Is that meant to be the ocean, but there's no ocean? Like, it was just this random rock formation. The car looks too big for the scene that it's hitting. It hits the rock and like, I think explodes, but like with a superimposed kind of explosion. It's a really weirdly edited sequence.
Right.
Because you're like, oh, this is where like the cop will pull him out of the car. They'll have a face off. There'll be something. Maybe Severance will show up. There'll be like a standoff, something interesting. No, he just nudges him off, flies off, explodes into the thing. You're like, oh, I guess he's done then. Like, it's so weird. Yeah.
There's no repercussions. It's not like people don't investigate and say like, well, why did this police
the
officer
only sheriff in this small Dust Bowl town is driven off a road into a cliff, and everyone's just like, well, that happened. People do drive into that random cliff that we place there all the time. That's his fault, really. He should have known better. That's probably how it was.
It's like they wrote Richard Burgi's character, and then they're like, we don't know what to do with him. And
Right.
it's
It
like,
was
okay,
just
well,
to pad out. It's because they had him show up to the thing, right? I'm gonna try and kill this guy, and then figure out where his thing is. But he doesn't count on Joan Severance.
right.
And Jones, not only does he not count on Joan Severance, meaning she might see him perform the act and therefore, like, he's got to deal with her, but also he doesn't count on her being, like, smoking hot and him just spending his entire time slack-jawed and porn-stashed, wanting to mash Stash against Bush for the rest of the movie. So, he is then in a conundrum, which you can appreciate. And he does a little bit of inspecting, tries to figure out what's going on. He tries to make out with Severance. She doesn't initially want it. Then he kind of like really grossly licks the back of her thigh, which is really disgusting.
Right.
And she's just like, all right, I guess this is happening. They postman only rings twice all over the kitchen, with just some really disturbing dialogue.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm not going to repeat what she says, but what she says to him, you're like, oh, I don't want to think of C. Thomas Howell ejaculating. No,
Yeah.
please don't bring that into my head.
No, exactly. No. But it is the thing where it's like, at least this one, because there's twists involved,
Yeah.
you're like, okay, I get it, right? Like I get like
Right.
why Joan Severance. I mean, you get these moments with Joan Severance. I mean, there's a scene where they're working at the grill, and she's like dancing around and singing some old song that's playing, on the radio there, and it's kind of awkward the way she's singing it, but by the same token, it's endearing.
Yeah.
And C. Thomas Howell's like, oh, you should become a singer. You should pursue
Which
being
is
a singer.
a thread from the first movie,
Right.
Indiscretion or whatever it was called, Dangerous Indiscretion, where she used to be a nightclub singer, and C. Thomas Howell's like, I'm going to save her from her uber rich husband and push her back into the notoriously sexist job of nightclub singing as a woman in 1995.
Right, exactly, yeah. But yeah, here she's just kind of bobbing around, dancing, singing. I mean, there's a moment where she gets her hair done and she sees Hal enjoying his hot dog because one thing he wanted to get when he got out of prison was have a hot dog, and she's just like, she got her hair done, I guess, which I didn't really notice that, but she's like, he's looking at her and she's like, oh, you don't like it, and it's like, no, he likes it, he likes it.
Oh, you don't like it? It would look better with your dress on the floor.
Exactly.
I think your haircut would look a lot better with your dress on the floor.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, what's interesting is that Anthony Hickox, at this point, he'd made 2 Waxwork movies.
Yeah.
He had made Sundown and Vampire in Retreat. He comes from the Bruce Campbell, Sam Raimi, what is known as the Michigan Mafia. Although Hickox is English originally, he did a lot of work early on with the Raimis and with Campbell. Campbell shows up in Waxwork 2, Campbell's in Sundown, Vampire in Retreat. But I think Hickox does something around the Evil Dead movies or something like that, I think, at some point. But he is someone who, he reminds me a little bit of a Brian Trenchard Smith, meaning that if given whatever budgets he was playing in with the 90s, those budgets obviously got smaller and smaller as he went on. So he's never going to quite be able to have the polish that he has. But his run of 90s movies look really great. I mean, the 2 Waxwork movies look great. Sundown and Vampire in Retreat looks great. I think this looks great. I think it looks great. I think the cinematography is excellent. I think the costuming is excellent. I think the weather, the way they play with the rain and dust and the old diner and all that is great. I just think it doesn't know what to do with its second act. It's waiting for his prison mate to come back and be like, I want half the money, and then ultimately be like, I want all the money.
Yeah.
But then it starts layering on twists and has this like really fun, coy, goofy ending. And I think to myself, like, if Hickox and Trenchard Smith had really been, if their budgets had gone up rather than going down, and if people had sort of appreciated what they were capable of in their early career, I really think we could have got a lot more great Hickox stuff. As it is, shortly after this, he does a run of Amanda Sante movies. He does a couple of Dolph movies.
Yeah.
One of which Jill Rips I've actually seen.
Yes, Jill. Yeah, so Jill Rips is that's the one. That's I don't know if I would call that one an erotic thriller, but yeah, he
It's not good.
no, the only things I like about that one is it takes place in Boston, even though it was shot in Montreal. And his character's name is Matt. I don't know how many Matts he plays, but that's always a good one. The other than Stormcatcher, the one before that, he fights a guy with a futon in that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, a Stormcatcher I might want to watch, but I watched some of the trailers to his Amanda Sante movies, and Last Run and Federal Protection look particularly wonderful. And if you want to talk about horrendous wigs on actors who are on a border between parody and serious, the wig that Amanda Sante wears in Federal Protection at the beginning. Oh, hallelujah. I mean, I've got to see those two movies. They look absolutely joyously awful. Amanda Sante in an Anthony Hickox movie. Come on now.
Dina Meyer plays a character named Bootsy Cavender. So that's, I mean, yeah. Bootsy Cavender.
That's fantastic. Yeah. As we said, he makes Submerged.
Yeah.
And another one that I was intrigued by, his 2015 epic Exodus to Shanghai, looks particularly grindhousey.
Yeah.
But no, I would have loved to have seen Hickox make more of these kind of movies. And maybe there are a couple of other Hickox gems knocking about. Obviously, I've seen his Waxwork movies. I've seen his Hellraiser movie. I've seen his Sundown and Warlock, the Armageddon. And then Payback. So, and Joe Rips. So I feel like I'm ready for the Amanda Sante movies.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've got Dina Meyer as Bootsy Cavender. I mean, that's just
because he did 3.
Yeah,
so he did Last Run, Federal Protection, and Consequence.
Yeah. So
that'd be a great trilogy, a great run of movies.
Yeah.
And what's weird is that on IMDb for Consequence, there's not like a photograph of the VHS and the DVD. There's like a bad Photoshop mock-up of the VHS and the DVD, and I don't really understand why.
I think it was that was actually on Tubi. The other two aren't on Tubi, but Consequence is. I that's something that happens. I don't know if it's like where it's being sold or something. I don't know. Yeah, how that works. Oh, it's got Ricky Schroeder in it. That's great. Consequence.
Yeah, I think Last Run is on something. I thought I saw.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
It's on. Oh, it's available to rent on Amazon and Federal Protection. Let's have a look. Yeah, rent or buy on Amazon.
Okay, yeah.
But I could probably find them streaming somewhere.
Yeah.
But yes, I love me some Amanda Sante. And I think that 3 Anthony Hickox Amanda Sante movies might be worth a look. Because I have to say, I'm not going to give. I think Payback. What does it have on IMDb? It has 5.7. I think that's a fine score for it. I wouldn't go crazy otherwise. What does the other movie have? What was the other movie?
Good question, actually. Yeah. So, what was
Dangerous Indiscretion?
4.7.
Gotta be a 3.
No, it's a 4.7. Yeah.
See, to me, Dangerous Indiscretion is a 3.5 on the IMDb scale. On the Letterboxd, it's like a 1.5, 2 maybe at a push. Whereas Payback to me on the IMDb scale, 5.7, I might go 6 out of 10. I might nudge that up a little bit, but 5.7, 6 out of 10. That's a fine place for it to be. Again, it's a solid 3-star Letterboxd movie, 3.5 star maybe, just an extra nudge because you do get to see the boobs.
Yeah.
And now you do unfortunately get to see the porn stash rubbed all over them, but you have to kind of you take the rough with the smooth. It's a bit like my bottom, really.
Well, because I think the thing with Payback too, again, like you said, is it has like that middling second act in the middle there that doesn't really go anywhere, but at least it hits the spots of a erotic thriller. Like the twists are in there. The elements of the character being, sort of, manipulated by the main. Joan Severance gets to be the manipulator that she wasn't in the previous movie. So yeah, there's a lot of elements there that work, but then there's like things that just don't make any sense, like the Richard Burgi character. It's like I just don't know what that's even doing in the film. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I just think it's a little odd. But as I said, I would rather be watching 100 versions of Payback than ever watch the other one
Yeah.
again.
right, exactly.
I don't know, probably based. Oh, by the way, you were asking earlier about the goatee beard.
Yeah.
If you go to 1998 and watch Matter of Trust
Yeah.
with C. Thomas Howell and Joan Severance, he has a goatee beard in that. So Severance got the trifecta of facial hair as far as C. Thomas Howell is. She got the clean shaven stubble in the first one, porn stash in the second one, poor goatee in the third one. Also known as the surgeon.
That's okay. That's yeah. It's amazing. These movies that she starred with so many people in these kinds of movies. It is kind of interesting that C. Thomas Howell, she did 3 with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I mean, look, good for her. They
Yeah.
must have said, look, we'll give you a little extra if you keep coming back. We haven't found anyone who can convince anyone that C. Thomas Howell is bangable except you.
Right.
What has she been doing lately? She was in
she doing, like-
Shepherds, a TV series. She played Barbara Shepherds. This was back
Okay.
in 2020. Shepherds that I don't even know what that was made for. She's in the 2016 movie Accidentally Engaged and the other movie Shark Proof as Connie Krebs,
Right.
which stars John Lovitz, Cameron Von Hoy, Kinga Kiziersek, Michael Dreyer, Dennis Haskins, and Joan Severance. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Girls-
that looks terrible.
Yeah, I
Shark
think
Proof.
she's doing like some like Hallmark movies as well, but maybe I'm wrong about that.
She, of course, had her own comic book movie, Black Scorpion.
That's right. That's right.
Which was a Roger Corman erotic comic book movie. And she was in a sequel to that, wasn't there? Wasn't there a Black Scorpion 2?
There was. Yeah. Yeah.
So she's in that. Is she in the series as well?
I think so, because I don't. Yeah, I think she was.
No,
I think
it's Michelle Lintel in the series.
Okay. So she's the TV movie, but not the series.
Yeah, she's in the movie. She's not in the series, and I don't think she's in Black Scorpion Returns either. I think
You might be right there. Yeah.
Black Scorpion Returns, although that gets 7.8. She is not in that. Soupy Sales is, though.
Soupy Sales, of course, you got Soupy Sales.
And it says this movie appears to be a compilation of the first 2 episodes of the Black Scorpion television series. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That's why she's not in it.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I mean, she did, yeah. In the 2000s, she did a She Spies episode. She was doing some other stuff, She did a sequel. I didn't realize there was a sequel to The Last Seduction, and she was the star of that. And
yeah, she did a couple of what's his name? She did a couple of Billy Zane movies, I believe, and a Corbin Bernstein movie as well.
Yeah, you gotta do one of those.
But I thought Billy Zane was in this. Isn't Billy Zane in Sex and Consequences?
Oh, maybe. Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
She's always like a lonely housewife who has a steamy affair with someone.
Right.
And Corbin Bernstein is I thought she was in one with the Zane Meister.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think she did do one with him. Let's see. We can always pull that up on the thing there. Did movies with collaborations. But
Lake Consequence. That's the one she does with the Zane.
The Zaneinator. Yeah, because he's got to be about C. Thomas Howell's age, right? He's close there. He could have been maybe a better choice for Dangerous Indiscretion.
Yeah. Billy Zane would have been all right. You wouldn't have had the fireworks that you'd get with a Spader, but it would be
Yeah.
Spader adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that Zane has a typical, like Zane has a Spader-esque place in our hearts,
Right.
even if he doesn't necessarily have it on our screens.
Right.
Doesn't quite have the resume that Spader has,
Right.
but he has it in our heart. We feel Billy Zane.
Yeah.
We
Well, if
feel
you can't get Spader, right? If you can't get Spader for Dangerous
Zane will do
Indiscretion,
in a pinch. You see, I
Yeah.
think that where Hollywood casting goes wrong is they go, well, if we can't get James Spader, we'll get Eric Stoltz. And I
Yeah.
think that's where they go wrong. Because
yes,
Eric Stoltz is like the anti-Spader. He's like a charisma vacuum. He's like he sucks all the sexuality out of the room. Like if you want to clear a room, like if everyone's getting a bit horned up at a party, and you're like, I think this party's about to turn into a 70s orgy, Bucknall kind of thing. People are splashing liquor all over their breasts and convincing people to do shots off their belly button and stuff. If something's getting really horned up in your party, you just bring Eric Stoltz in. Immediately, it'll drain any life force, any libido, any lasciviousness that you feel. Eric Stoltz will just absorb it into his ginger pubic facial hair, and then you'll be able to go on with the party in unencumbered by erections. Eric Stoltz will unencumber you by erection. Yeah.
Yeah, Stoltz, that's I never thought, that's a good thing, for guys, wake up in the morning with morning wood and you gotta go to the bathroom. I guess you could just go Stoltz, just like think of Stoltz.
Just go full Stoltz.
Yeah, suddenly it's like, okay, yeah, you can. It's just whoops.
As AI gets more advanced, you'll be able to buy a hologrammatic Stoltz.
Right.
That if if you are tempted at any point in your life, you have like it's like an app you get on the Apple Watch, but it's a little hologrammatic Stoltz.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself in a bar, in a strange town because you're at a conference, and maybe you're talking to a woman, and maybe you're thinking like, wait, am I chatting her up? Am I not? Stoltz pops up on your Apple Watch and just stoltz at you for about 5 minutes, and you lose all the blood rushes to your toes.
Yeah.
It just all you just I got to walk away. I'm sorry. Stoltz has drained me of any libido. I think that would be a great app for the cheaters of the world, man.
Yeah. Well, it's like that guy Jeffrey Toobin who was on a Zoom thing. He was working with CNN. He was on a Zoom thing. He was masturbating in the Zoom thing.
If he had a Stoltz hologram,
right? Yeah, it would have stopped it right there. There would have been no.
There wouldn't. I mean, there probably wouldn't even be a Zoom call because people are like, "Is he going to bring Stoltz out again?" And they're going to be like, "Yeah, we can't do that. It's too dull. It's too dull. We'll fall asleep." If he brings hologrammatic Stoltz out to Stoltz it up, yeah.
The only thing, whenever you mention Stoltz, I just hear him in Pulp Fiction when, Travolta's
Pulp
knocking
Fiction
on
is
the
the
door.
only movie that I can tolerate him in.
Yeah.
It's the only movie where he moves.
Yeah.
It doesn't just slink around expounding nonsensical garbage. Right. Him and Ethan Hawke back in the night. I quite like Ethan Hawke now.
Yeah.
Ethan Hawke's having a bit of a Hawke naissance of late.
Right.
I quite like old Shambhala. He's moving into the Jeff Bridges era of his career, and I'm here for it, as the kids say, Matt.
Yes, right.
I'm here for the Hawke, the Bridginating of Hawks.
Yeah.
But back in his reality bite days, you couldn't get a more floppy-haired, punchable twazzock than Ethan Hawke. He was such a straight-faced, pretentious wanker.
Yeah.
And the idea of him and Eric Stoltz, I mean, it'd be like two barrels of pretentious twaddle. There are human ears. Like if they'd put the two of them in together discussing Proust or something, there would be mass suicides. You know what I mean? Have you seen that new movie where Ethan Hawke and fucking Eric Stoltz sit around and discuss Kierkegaard? Yeah, there was 83 suicides in our cinema when that movie came out. I was this close to fucking drowning my sorrows with a shotgun, and I had to leave the cinema. I was this close to huffing paint and killing myself. I was this close to taking an overdose of temazepam. And it's, you know, because Stoltz and Hawk were on the screen, I don't know, discussing Renaissance Italian painting or something. But we're both wearing like tweed blazers with floppy 90s hair. Oh, it'd be nauseating. But maybe Eric Stoltz is, I don't want him to have a Stoltz Renaissance, but maybe he ends up playing a bad guy in a horror movie. Maybe he, takes on that mantle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. There are all sorts of people. Maybe he, you know who was kind of like the pre-Stoltz? And he's still a little Stoltz. He's still a little Matthew Modine.
Yes, he's a little Stoltzy.
You know what I mean?
He's
Remember
kind of
when
like
he
a mix
showed
of
up in
Stoltz
Stranger
and
Things
Hawk.
and you were like, Modine, huh?
Right.
We're resurrecting Modine. All right. I'll go with it for this minute. You remember that?
He's somewhere in the sliding scale between Hawk and Stoltz. Modine's in the middle there somewhere. Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, there was one thing in the 80s when he was like doing wrestling movies that had like Madonna on the soundtrack. It was like, okay, I can accept that Modine. That Modine makes sense. But then he's in Batman playing like a police officer in Batman, the Nolan Batmans, and you're like, oh, Modine. That's still a thing. You can still do Modine.
You can still pull Modine out of the trash heap of the 90s and dust him off for 5 minutes and put him in your films.
Yeah. He's kind of like in that. Yeah, he's like not fully Stoltz, but he's not fully Hawk either. It's sort of like, if
there was a movie where they were like, you've waited long enough, Matthew Modine, Eric Stoltz, and Ethan Hawke are the three punchable twats. You know what I mean? And you just be like, I don't want to watch this movie. And it's just the three of them. He's in fucking Oppenheimer. I knew Christopher Nolan is a Modine fan, which says all you need to know about fucking Nolan.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
He's a Modine fan. You're not allowed to be you can't be Christopher Nolan, best director ever, TM, or whatever the fucking internet thinks of him. Internets just think he's fucking the best thing ever, and I think he can't tell a story to save his life.
Right.
You can't do that and put Modine in your movies. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But people are gonna be like, what about Full Metal Jacket? And you go, right, but Ali Ermey and Vincent D'Onofrio saved that movie. If they're not, they're so far west of Modine that it saves an otherwise Modine-able movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, modern, like aged Modine, he's like Ed Begley Jr. without the funny.
Yes.
He's like this goofy Ed Begley Jr. who's not playing it for laughs the way Ed Begley Jr. would.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't even get to laugh. You get to laugh, but it's not like he's in on the joke with you like Ed Begley Jr. is.
No.
Yeah.
No, he's like him showing up in Stranger Things. I remember just being like, huh. Modine, huh? Because what is it? Is it like the second season or something?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen Stranger Things.
Okay, I think it's the second season.
Yeah.
And after the first season, you go, okay, we'll get it. We'll get a few more character. Like at one point, Sam from the Hobbit movies. What's his name?
Astin. Sean Astin. Yeah.
Sean Astin. He shows up as like a love interest for Winona Ryder, and you're like, that's just cruel to Winona Ryder, really.
Right,
but whatever. You go, okay, Astin doing a 3 or 4 episode stint on Stranger Things as the cuddly potential stepdad to the main character who, sacrifices himself or whatever. I'm sorry, I'm spoiling it for you, Matt, but whatever. If you haven't watched Stranger Things now, you're not going to watch it.
Right.
He shows up, whatever. You're like, I can cope with that. That's fine. But then Modine shows up and you go, huh?
Yeah.
And you just look at the TV a little sideways. You're like, Netflix, Modine, huh? Stranger Things. Modine.
That's where we're going with this.
Modine. And you get the feeling that they want, a Spader or a Zane or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've gone down the thing and they're like, Modine? Do we have any takers around the table for Modine? And they're just like, Full Metal Jacket, I guess there's some
Vision
cachet
Quest.
there.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah,
I
but that
keep
was a
saying
long
Vision Quest,
time
like it.
ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I keep saying Vision Quest, like anybody remembers that movie. I
Right.
only remember because it had "Crazy for You," the Madonna song was in it. Yeah, I don't remember the actual. I remember the video would play on MTV with clips of him wrestling and hooking up with Linda Fiorentina. I think that's who the love interest was in
Clips
that
of
movie.
Modine.
Right. But it's
Yeah,
like
you don't
it's
want
yeah,
clips of Modine in your music video.
no,
Modine's been in a fuck ton of things lately as well.
yeah, he's just
Like
yeah,
when we think of prime Modine, we're actually really only thinking like the first act in his career.
yeah,
The second act in his career, like from the 2000s onwards, he's Eric Robertson a bit. He's in like 3
yeah.
or 4 things a year.
Yeah, it's interesting how these guys like they develop a name in the 80s and then they use that name to essentially just take all of these parts that just like essentially give them a mansion in LA and allow them to
Wait,
renovate it.
Modine is in the Transporter too? Did I black that
Yeah, and
out?
he used the baddie. I think he used the baddie in that or something. Or he's like, or no, I think he's the husband who's, I think was it Amber Valletta's husband? Was that the actor?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was in. I didn't know he was in. Wow.
Yeah, and the thing is, when I saw Transporter 2, I think thought the same thing you thought when you saw him in Amber Valletta. I think he plays Amber Valletta's husband. But I think I thought the same thing you thought when you saw him in Stranger Things. I was like, oh, Modine, huh? We're doing
Yeah,
that's what we're doing in this movie.
it's only the second sequel. It's only the first sequel, and we're already jumping to Modine.
You're right,
Modine feels like a fourth sequel decision.
Yes.
You know,
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah.
Modine is more of a fourth sequel decision.
Right.
Yeah.
You get the sense that it was like, boy, they didn't think that first movie was going to do that well, and they were like,
they jumped straight to Modine.
yeah, they're throwing it all together really quickly there for number 2, and
Yeah. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate the Modining of modern movies.
right, exactly.
But good for him. You know what I mean? They could have got someone interesting. They could have got Carl McLaughlin, but no.
Right.
They were like, we're not going to go with Carl McLaughlin.
Yeah.
We're going to go with the anti-McLaughlin, which is Modine. He's like the anti-McLaughlin.
Well, again, because it's like the same thing. Is that he's you get Carl McLaughlin in something like Portlandia, where he's playing the mayor and he's hilarious. He just he's perfect. And it's like, okay, well, if we get Modine, he's going to look the part of the goofiness of Carl McLaughlin or Ed Begley Jr. or whoever, but he's not going to do anything that's like he's not going to be in on the joke. He's not going to. There are no jokes with Modine.
Do you know what Matthew Modine looks like now? When I see Modine in things, imagine if they made an Austin Powers now, but it was an Austin Powers movie parodying the Daniel Craig era.
Oh, right.
Bond. So it was still Mike Myers as Austin Powers.
Yeah.
But they wanted someone who was a good parody of a Austin Powers style Bond villain, but for the Daniel Craig era.
Yeah.
That's what Matthew Modine looks like.
Yes. Yeah.
He looks like in the third act of a Austin Powers movie parodying the Daniel Craig Bond movie, that he would spin around in a collarless jacket in an office chair stroking a cat. And be like, were you expecting someone else? Modine! Like you expect, do you know what I mean? Like you would think it was Dr. Evil, but no, it was Matthew Modine.
Right.
And they were like, and the critics would just be, oh, that's such a clever commentary on how terrible Modine is.
Right.
It looks like a third-rate Bond villain.
Exactly. Kids on Twitter or whatever, Blue Sky would just be like how much they love that they use Matthew. He'd be like memes and everything. Yeah.
He'd be Matthew Mo Meme.
Matthew Mo Meme.
Matthew Mo Meme. We're looking for a Modine type. Have we just tried asking Modine? Good point. Yeah, I'm sure Modine will be available. Yeah. No one's ever said that. Like, Matthew Modine is the epitome of an actor that no one's ever said, get me a Modine type.
Right, exactly. No,
because if you want Modine, you just get Modine.
Right, when somebody says, I need an Ethan Hawke type, right? Yeah. Or I need a, I guess an Ed Begley Jr. type. Yes.
Modine is waiting patiently.
Right, exactly.
To take those Begley Jr. ducats.
Right, exactly. His agent's there, just ready to,
So going back to the Joan Severance movies,
Yeah.
What are you giving Dangerous Indiscretion and it's not called Payback, which is a really dumb name for it because
Right.
who's paying anyone back? I mean, there's no So anyway, what was your final verdict on those?
I feel about the same. I think the thing for me is I think the Malcolm McDowell elevates Dangerous Indiscretion a little bit more for me, and then I think the Payback. I don't know. The thing about Payback, I think that makes it. But I was kind of maybe going where you were, 2.5 for Dangerous Indiscretion, 3 on on the letterbox scale, 3 for Payback, and I think the thing that keeps Payback a 3 and not a 2.5 is that opening scene. I think that opening scene is just so ridiculous. But
Yeah.
I think Joan Severance carries both of these movies. I think these are
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yes. Without
Yeah.
Severance, neither movie. I'm just saying that from a production standpoint, I like a movie. I love a movie that feels like, 50, like what's a great one with Gary Oldman, Romeo is Bleeding.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
just has that great like wraparound where he works in like the old Dust Bowl gas station or whatever.
Yeah.
Breakdown with Kurt Russell. Like I love those like vibes of movies. The kind of Dust Bowl, long Arizona, long Utah kind of stretch of road. I love any movie with that kind of backdrop, and I think they did the Americana very well in the movie. I think they got the vibe very well. I think that I just always feel that Thomas Howell is out of his depth in almost all of these films. And while he gets away with it in PM because you've got the PMness of it all happening around him, neither of these movies have. Now, Payback has more PM than the first one, and I think why I'm intrigued by his Amanda Sante movies, while I'm intrigued by them, is because they look to be action films, and what the best parts of Payback are the action scenes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I think the other thing too, when you think of C. Thomas Howell in PM films, again, that just gets to the genius of Spiro Rosatos that
Right.
he is making these action sequences that are just so massive that you even C. Thomas Howell is,
Right.
C. Thomas Howell essentially becomes, Gary Daniels or,
Right.
Dolph or whatever. He's that level of an action star for this moment in the Sweeper. But even like Pure Danger, I mean, that's Spiro Rosatos as well, right? With those chase scenes and all of that.
I think
mean,
so.
it's just,
Maybe it might be Colas McCann.
oh, can we call us McKay? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, again, they just elevate his stuff. And yeah, you don't see that in these movies. But I think to your point about Hickox, I think that you're right. The feel of it, Joan Severance with the waitress outfit, it's perfect. She goes from having like white high heels on to like this, like these kind of like these like ankle socks and like this kind of like this, these kind of shoes that they're not any better for waitressing, I don't think, but they look the part more. And then she ends up having sex with those same socks on. When they
dirty.
love scene.
There's something about, I think it was probably Kim Basinger in 9.5 Weeks.
Yeah.
Prior to the food scene.
Right.
That really started the whole, ladies in rolled down kind of white gym socks and just a shirt or a short waitress outfit or whatever. Beautifully parodied, of course, by Valerina Galino in Hot Shots.
That's right. Exactly.
Who is just spot. Galino is someone who should have way more things. She was great. She's really great. And she's way better than Charlie Sheen. Everyone remembers the Charlie Sheen being great in that movie. No.
Yeah.
Valerina Galino, we just rewatched the Hot Shots movies again, and it's Bridges,
Lloyd Bridges.
Lloyd Bridges and Valerina Galino make those movies 1,000%. And Princess Bride guy in the first one, Cary Elwes, he's great.
Yes, Cary. Yeah. No, I totally agree. I agree with you there. She was a great actor. There were a lot of these models in the 90s, 80s and 90s who took on roles as actors, and they were good, and they didn't always get. I think Andie MacDowell may have got like the most respect out of all.
Which is weird because MacDowell is not good.
Right, exactly.
Like you put Valerina Galino in four and a half weddings, is it? Four and a half
Or Four
weddings?
Weddings and a Funeral.
4 weddings and a funeral, four and a
Yeah.
half weddings.
Sort of.
9.5 weeks, 4.5 weddings. Four weddings and a funeral. That's a smoke show right there.
Yeah.
Andy McDowell, you're like, I don't care if these two get together, just bring back the fat Jolly Scotsman. You know what I mean? But otherwise, because Andy McDowell is like, she's like, I don't know, she's just so drippy.
Yeah.
Put Valerina Galino in St. Elmo's Fire. I buy Emilio Estevez being Gaga over Galino. I don't buy him being Gaga over McDowell.
Yeah. No, I totally agree there. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Or Severance.
Severance. Yeah. I mean, Severance, again, it's like the moment Howell meets her in this movie and, she's like asking for her shoe back and she's putting her shoes on and stuff. It's like, she just has it. Like she's taking over the movie. She's pulling you in. And she does these parts well. I mean, I think Shannon Worry is like a different, because she's more of the in the more soft core level of those, more of the Cinemax level. So it's like they're kind of in different ponds when it comes to these erotic thrillers. But Worry doesn't.
Shauna O'Brien.
Yeah, exactly.
Shannon Worry, Shauna O'Brien.
Yeah. Monique Parent.
Monique.
Yeah.
Are we pronouncing her name like it's French? I always just say Monique Parent. But I do quite like the idea of taking Monique Parent, who is, the queen of a certain type of softcore, and calling her Monique Parent. I quite like that as a,
Going back to the hockey conversation, part of the reason why I've got that in my head is their famous goalie when they won the Stanley Cup here in Philadelphia, Bernie Parent. And so,
right.
Yeah, I think that's why it was in my head there. Monique, you get a French first name, and then it's like, So I think that's what happened to me there. Yeah.
But no, I think, look, I don't necessarily recommend either of these movies. I think if you're going to watch one, I would watch Payback, but that's just me. That's my personal taste. It's got more of the kind of straight to video vibe that I like. The other one looks a bit ratty around the edges. There's
also more boom mics in that other one. I think I counted 2 or 3 boom mics.
So many boom mics in Indiscretion. Oh my God. A plethora of boom mic sightings. It was wonderful. I kept wanting him to like grab it during a sex scene and just be like, I just pull the microphone down and shove it in Joan Severance's mouth or something. He's so possessive in these films. It's like so creepy.
Yeah.
No one wants C. Thomas Howell being possessive. Now, if you want to cuckold C. Thomas Howell, sure, make him the weak cuckold. But having him like the possessive grouch, I just don't understand it.
Well, because the other thing, too, to your point about C. Thomas Howell compared to Harry Hamlin or Jack Scalia, is that, Jack Scalia or Harry Hamlin, you see them, they walk into the room and it's like, yes, you get it, right? Like any woman, for the most part, is going to be interested in them.
Right. Their chin has baby oil on it. Like, you know what I mean? They're already lubed up when they walk into the thing. The hair's perfect. Yes. The face is lubed. They're ready to go. They're ready for anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. C. Thomas Howell doesn't have that kind of cachet. He can't do that. He can't. The
mustache is knocking a lot of points off him.
Right, exactly. Right. That's the thing. You're already working uphill with C. Thomas Howell, and then you throw the mustache on him, and that just doesn't help. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. He looks like that character that Ben Stiller plays in Dodgeball.
Oh, right. Yes, right. Yes. Yeah.
He looks like Ben Stiller in Dodgeball.
Right.
Oh, and we're meant to take him seriously, ravishing Severance's naughty bits on a, cooktop or whatever.
Right. Well, I love that when they start doing the sex scene on the counter or the cooker or whatever, and it's just, it's only a matter of time, and then she starts grabbing a head above her, and then boom, the flour comes down, and it's just like food. It's just
what's amazing is that the rest of the movie I spent thinking to myself, are they ever going to pick up that cutlery?
Right. No,
because they start on like the public facing waitress station where they maybe have the cutlery and a pile of cups or whatever, and it's not quite you as a customer can't go over and use it, but it's also not in the kitchen. It's like they start on that, and he knocks an entire tray, like one of those gray tray, like gray cafeteria tray of cutlery, the big deep. He knocks it. By the way, he doesn't have to. He just
Right.
does. Knocks it all the way off the table. The rest of the movie, I'm like, did they ever pick up the cutlery?
Right.
Because I don't. The moment
No.
his her husband leaves, he's off to the barn to get his nuts dusted against the top of a Chevrolet.
Now, one thing I forgot to mention is when we get
What?
to the end of the movie and he thinks that like she's disappeared or something, he starts tearing the place apart, yelling out Rose. And then eventually, like he's at the like kind of I don't know whatever it's the gazebo or whatever where she knocks him off to kill him to kind of end the movie.
Yeah.
And when he screams, he sounds like Reb Brown. He was like,
Yeah.
when he's like Rose or whatever, but it sounds like Reb Brown screaming in like Space Mutiny or something like that. Again, they kept it because it's just him, yelling or whatever, but it was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. It was terrible. But I like that she got the better of him. And then Hickox has one last bit of fun up his sleeve, which is, of course, she thinks she's got away scot-free. She's got the suitcase full of money. Her husband's been killed upstairs, but she didn't do it, and she can't be traced to it. The guy who can be traced to it is at the bottom of the ravine, where maybe they'll look for him, maybe they won't. But she's off. She gets into a cab. And, of course, we, the audience, know that earlier on, the guy who came to harass Howell was also his friend in the joint, picked him up outside the joint in a cab. So we know that he has stolen a cab and is using a cab and is driving a cab. And at the end of the movie, you see the cab show up outside the diner. She throws the keys away. She gets in the back. She puts the money down. And the guy is in the front seat, and he turns around and smiles, turns on the meter, and drives off. And the movie is wah, wah, wah. Off. Is he going to kill her? Is she going to get away again? Who's going to get the money? Is nobody going to get the money? Is the cab going to drive into that weirdly cut out paper cliff that the police cop drove into? What's going to happen? We don't know. Payback 2, Hickox.
Yeah.
But I think Hickox passed, I think.
He did. He passed away. Yes. Yeah. 2023,
recent,
I believe.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. 2023, I think. Yeah.
So we were deprived from a Payback 2, where he would have got to see Thomas Howell and Amanda Sante to finally be in the same movie together, possibly with Modine.
Yeah.
And he would have Severance there.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, which I feel like that we're already starting in a better place, but
Right. Yeah. Back again, like you've always wanted. See Thomas Howell, Joan Severance, with additional Amanda Sante and extra Matthew Modine. Last Run looks good. I want to see Last Run.
Yeah.
I really do.
I'm curious about those Armando Sante movies he made. But so
maybe that's a diner episode we do or something.
Yeah, that could be a lot of fun. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so I loved this trip down DTV lane again. I'm always up for some erotic thrillers. I think we are doing very well right now with the ones that we've watched. I don't think any of them have been complete duds.
No,
I think
The Interest in Indiscretions was the closest, but
yes.
Malcolm McDowell, I think, keeps it from being.
He does.
Yeah.
He it's like he pegs his suspenders to the four corners of the movie and just keeps it above ground. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, this is now 8 of these we've covered. No, 10. It's 10 because we did the Harry Hamlin 2.
Yeah.
We did the Bedroomized movie, so that's 4.
Yeah.
We did the Scalias, so that's 6. We did the Sam Furstenberg's.
Yeah.
So it's 8. So now these 2 make 10. So we've now done 10 of these. Yeah.
10 erotic thrillers with Matthew and myself talking about it. What a treat we give to the listeners every few weeks.
Yes, no, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as we're wrapping, I know you mentioned about the PM podcast coming up. Anything else that you wanted to plug while we're here?
No, other than to say my last 2 albums, which had not been on Spotify for very long, had not been on Spotify previously and now on Spotify. But don't worry, all the people out there who don't like Spotify, and I understand why, they are also on Tidal, Deezer, Apple Music, Amazon Music, blah, 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 blah. But my last 2 albums, and I can't even think of their names right now. I know one of them is the story of the carousel pony or something. But my last two albums, Evacuation Plan and The Forgotten Hymns of the Carousel Horse, which are my last two albums, and they've always been on Bandcamp. But if you don't feel like buying them, although you should buy them, if you don't feel like buying them, you can now stream them on wherever you get your music, Matthew. That's Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures album, Evacuation Plan, and its predecessor, The Forgotten Hymns of the Carousel Horse.
Yeah, so I have the link in every podcast episode, at least for the past year or so, and in perpetuity, I've been including the link to Miscellaneous Plumbing Fixtures Bandcamp in there because it's you did our theme song as well, so people hear the theme song. I've got some more compliments on that. Chris the Brain likes the theme song. He was talking about it. Yeah, and so the link to the Bandcamp is in every podcast description. So
thank you very much, sir. Thank you. That's really all I have else going on. This is going out after this, but I'm doing a VHS swap in Massachusetts this weekend.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to be up with our friend Scotty Toombs up in Hudson, Mass. We're going to be at a brewery slinging tapes.
Nice.
So
he's Analog Basement, right?
He is Analog Basement, yes, on the Instagrams. And I mean, this will have already taken place, so it doesn't matter. But if you go over to Be Kind Movie Vault or Analog Basement, you'll probably be able to see some video or photographs of the event of us slinging the VH tapes up in Hudson, Mass. So I'm looking forward to that. But that's it from me, sir.
All right. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Thank you again for coming on, John. It was a ton of fun. And thank you.
I will do this the end of time.
Yes.
Have you got to watch the documentary yet? We do it.
No, I got to do that. So I got to do that documentary before the next time we record. So I'll make sure I get it in. Yeah.
Oh, it's great, man. I might even watch it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of boobs in that documentary. It's boob heavy. It's predominantly boob footage.
Nice. If people not sure what we're talking about, what is it? We Kill for Love? Is that the name of it?
Yes, We Kill for Love, and it's one of those long form documentaries like the In Search of Darkness that was about horror in the 80s. Now they've done a 90s horror, and there was also In Search of the Last Action Hero, which was by the same company that did all the 80s and 90s action stuff, although weirdly glossed over PM. We Kill for Love is of that similar ilk. It goes through the entire history of erotic thrillers of the 90s and lots of clips, lots of talking heads. It's good times.
Yeah, you definitely got to check that out. Yeah, that sounds like a great time for sure.
That's my recommendation. That and everyone should be forced to watch Mafia in a Clockwork Orange style way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you again for coming on. This was a ton of fun. Thank you for listening. We'll be back soon. Bye, everyone.
But before then, I wanted to bring something up. Have you come across these, sir?
What?
Skittles popped.
I have not. No. Where are they? Are they like at the drugstores and stuff like that?
Yeah, in supermarkets, drugstores, corner stores. There's probably, Matt, somewhere like a Skittles showroom or shop that you could go into. Candy shops, they probably still exist somewhere quaint.
We have a few quaint candy shops here in Philadelphia.
I
mean, some of them make their own stuff.
The word quaint with Philadelphia, but we are doing it. Let's move forward with that. Oh, Philadelphia, aren't you quaint?
I remember when my wife and I, when Jen and I first we were at something, I can't remember. We met my sister, her then husband, so she's not with him anymore. She has a new husband, my brother-in-law. But her then husband, he was from Boston, and he made a comment to Jen about like, yeah, I heard Philly's getting to be like kind of like a new Boston or something like that. And she's like, or maybe Boston's just the old, maybe Boston's a new Philly, like, or something.
Yeah.
It's like, like I don't think he understood like how big, because there's that new. I guess you're probably seeing it in Connecticut now. There's that New England elitist kind of mindset, and sometimes it just comes out, And he was like, he was like first generation Bostonian, and his family came from like from Ecuador. So he grew up in Boston, but it's like,
well, I just think it's so quaint when we try and attach, lineage to a place that's like 300 years old.
Right.
I find that hilarious where people, well, I'm authentic Boston. Oh, you are authentic Boston. Really? How far does your family go back?
Right.
Really?
Right.
Yeah, that's sweet. That's quaint.
Yes.
I'm authentic Boston. Oh, you mean about 8 generations of your family?
Right, because like you think about like England, how far before Boston, right? That England was England, like it's like an imperial
like 1700 years,
right? Like there was a period of time where England was its own like imperial subject. They were imperial subjects to Rome.
Right.
And long before there was, that was even before Vikings were coming to America.
And then after that, the French had a dabble. The French had a dabble around 1066.
Right. Yeah.
Had a dabble.
Yeah. It's part of the reason why English is such a messed up language. Because it's like, the Danish and the Vikings had a dabble, and then the French had a dabble, and everybody.
Everyone has. All the white nations have dipped their wick in. The wonderful island of Great Britain. Right. And then since then, we went around the world. We dipped our wick all over the world, came back, and then went, oh my goodness, what is all this diversity doing? We've got to leave Europe and run away. And you're like absolutely baffled by the whole damn thing, because you're like, have you all gone mad? Have you all gone mad? Do you not remember that it wasn't that long ago that we were just swanning about the world, clubbing people to death and taking their countries and forcing them to drink tea? Like, have you all gone mad that you've forgotten about that? And now you're like, Britain should belong to the white people. No, that's not. Oh, Matt, politics, it sucks. Right. Anyway, back to Skittles popped.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, but putting U.S. in context, England has gone through all of this stuff before there even was before there was a Boston. Now, granted, there was.
Well, there was a Boston in England.
Right, and there's a Boston in England, exactly. There were people that lived here. There were people that were here before there. That's the other thing, too, is that we want to talk about how long Boston has existed, Boston, Massachusetts. Yes.
Right, but the native lands that it sits on.
Right. Nobody counts that. Like, if you come here to Philadelphia and you learn, it's as if nothing existed here in Philadelphia before.
It's because I don't think the Native Americans drink that much Dunkin'. Right. You know what I mean? Like, if the Native Americans were chugging back big gulp things of espresso or whatever the hell it is, drowned in some caramelly milk. If the Native Americans were doing that, then they probably would have had Boston a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But they weren't doing that. They were living a peaceful and pastoral existence.
Right.
Before we showed up and fucked everything up.
Everything up, exactly. Yes. But the Skittles pops, that looks amazing. I've got to get, I know.
So I first came across these. These are the OG, as the kids say. And I'll do some, is it ASMR?
Oh, maybe. Yes. Yeah, I think so. If you're opening the bag or something and making noises.
I'm opening the Skittles pop.
You're supposed to get like a packing peanut and just like flick it with your finger. Isn't that ASMR?
So what they've done, it's ingenious, is they've literally just put an actual Skittle in an air popper, and it's just like exploded.
Oh, it's not like a lollipop. It's like a.
Oh no, it's popped like in the same way that they do like pop chips, like pop fried chips.
Yeah.
So some guy was just like, you can tell he was probably high off his tits. He was probably completely baked. And he's looking at his air popper, and he's looking at his candy basket, and he's looking at his air popper, and he's looking at his candy. He's like, hey, I wonder what would happen if I took my Skittles and I put them in the air popper Let's have a look. And sure enough, Skittles Popped was born because they are bloody delicious.
I'm going to have to get some tomorrow.
They're crunchy. They're basically like just eating Skittle flavored crunchy sugar. I mean, it's just delightful.
Yeah.
Now, Matt.
Yeah.
Because for every big corporate idea, there must be a no-name brand knockoff version of that idea.
Yes.
In my local, is it called Five Below? The
Yes.
$5 below shop? Okay.
Yeah.
In my local Five Below, they have a little candy area in Five Below. I don't know if you've been in it.
So
Matt, but candy is predominant in the Five Below marketing.
Yeah, it's been a while because they a lot of times if I go in there, I bring a backpack with me everywhere. So
we've had the backpack conversation. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They don't want me to. So what? And the thing is, I'm afraid to leave my backpack with the security at Five Below because
I mean they're all fucked off. They're
right. So anybody could take that bag with them, and so I guess if I went in, but I need that bag. That bag is it's my grocery. So I was like, I think I went in there one time to get a shirt for my dad, and they were like,
"It's where he keeps his extra spleen."
Exactly. I don't have that extra spleen. I'm done. But,
attached to him by a long, fleshy ribbon. And some sort of tubular device. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. No, but I know what you mean. Like there's like a whole, essentially the whole front of the store is just made out of candy.
Made out of candy.
Yeah.
So this is great, right? You've got to imagine this, right? So there's the guy at Skittles who gets high and goes, what if I put my Skittles in an air popper, right? And they release it and it goes well. It's always sold out in my supermarket, dude. I reckon it's me and like a smack addict in the local neighborhood. And we both just go in and we're just like, gotta get the Skittles pop. We're just like, and when I leave, I always make sure that I leave at least 2 packets. I don't take over the allotment because I know that there's that smack fiend somewhere who's like, I'm gonna get my sugar rush, that guy. So so I always leave the courtesy bag. I never leave the pocket empty. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking, Matt, I'm always thinking of the other drug addict who's looking to shove his face full of sugary flavored goodness. Anyway, I went into there. So there's that guy, the Skittles Pop guy. I've invented Skittles Pop. Then there's the company that goes, oh, they popped Skittles. What else can we pop? And so and so you can now get it's like a total off-brand company. It looks like packaging. It looks like they discovered this from like 1997 in a box somewhere, and they just discovered all this stuff. That's what it looks like. It's always weirdly dusty. You know what I mean? Like it's been stored wrong. So. But you buy it anyway because you've got to try it, because now that you've tried Pop Skittles, you want to pop everything, Matt. Everything. Now that you've tried the gorgeousness of Pop, you're like, what else could human beings pop? Come on now, let's pop more things. So they've popped Haribo peach rings. They've popped the gummy worms. They've popped jelly bears. What are they called? What are the jelly?
Oh, the gummy bears.
Gummy bears. They've popped gummy bears. They're all awful, Matt. The only one that works is the Skittle. It's the only one. All the others are awful. They popped marshmallow. No, they popped candy corn. No. Yeah. Well, they did pop candy corn, but they popped candy floss. What do you call it?
Yes.
Cotton candy.
Cotton candy. Yes. Yeah, I think I've seen that.
They popped cotton candy. Yeah. And it made it hard. No, it was wrong. It didn't. Yeah. It was wrong. It was like eating a stone, and it was like dusty cotton candy. I'm like, did no one taste this before they? There's a reason why it's cotton candy and not popped. But they're popping everything, Matt. It's a new trend in candy, in confection now in America. It's sweeping the nation. And so I thought, well, I'd be clever. I'd go into Five Below and I'd buy one of each, because I'm like, I have to. Matt, I have to test it. I have to try all of them, because if the Skittle works so well, and it does work very well, who knows what other magic lies out? Have we tried popping a Twix or something like that, or popping a what's the 500 grand bar that has all the popped? If you pop already popped rice, what happens, Matt? I'm excited to find out.
We're gonna see. We're gonna pop them all. We're gonna pop them all. That's great. So tomorrow, I think it's at 7-Eleven must have those. So
Yeah.
I'll try the 7-Eleven. The other thing I do at 7-Eleven that is not healthy for me, I have this thing where I want to try all the Monster energy drink flavors.
Yeah, that's not good for you at all, Matt. That's the
No,
worst thing you could possibly do.
yeah, but it's like, oh, I go in there and it's like, oh, there's a new flavor. I've got to try this new one. It's like, and it's like I'll drink it. I'll get home and I'll drink it. The first thing is because
Yeah.
they taste like I like the taste of them, so I
Yeah.
drink it faster than I should.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I know, I'm just like lightheaded, like I feel ill, like like sick to my stomach. It's just like this whole bad feeling of just
Yeah.
like all these bad decisions that I've made for the past hour. Just all come back, and it's like, why did I do
You're
that to
holding a
myself?
droopy
Yeah.
7-Eleven hot dog that's
Right.
like half off the bun,
Oh,
and
it's
it's just bending
Yeah.
over. It's just absolutely disgusting. There's like a really bad Keone Waxman Steven Seagal movie on the TV. You're just in your underwear. There's like a fly catcher buzzer thing in the background, keeps going
Right.
like that. There's empty bottles of whiskey and everything like that.
Right.
And you're just
All
like,
from-
there was a new flavor of Monster Energy drink.
Right, exactly.
You're just like caught in the
Yeah.
beam of the Seagal movie.
Right, exactly. It's just like,
That's your future, dude.
that's it. It's one of those things where it's like, and I can't help it. Like I think Red Bull as well. I'll try, or there's another one called Ghost. They have, this is like, oh, that's a flavor I haven't tried yet, and it's like I'll get it, and it tastes okay. And
Yeah.
the other thing too is I don't know how different these tastes are, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like
There's a
I
new
don't-
one called Ghost, and the FDA have basically allowed it to have chemical grade heroin in it. Huzzah for America.
I remember in the early 2000s, they allowed them to have ephedra in them. And I remember getting this one. My buddy and I were going to Boston. We stopped at the 7-Eleven up
Yeah.
there in Kittery, Maine, before we went to go get our train to Boston. And I see this energy drink, which again, it's like I see something, I got to try it. It's got like a skeleton mixing something on it. And I start drinking it, and I was
It's
like,
got a skeleton
right.
on it's got dead people made this for
Right,
you.
right. The skeleton's on the cans, like doing some kind of alchemy or something. And I was like, okay, this is interesting.
No, but I
started-
agree with you. You've got to try it. If there's
I
a
have to try
skeleton doing alchemy, I'm drinking that.
I have to see what it's like. So I mean, I don't think we even got out of Maine. I don't think we got to New Hampshire yet. And it's like literally 5 minutes over the border from Kittery to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
When I started feeling off. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if I could finish this. But then I was like, well, I bought this. I feel like I should finish it. But I was like, I think I didn't finish it. And I looked at it. I don't know how
That
much
is such an addict way to think about things.
Right,
It's
yes.
like, well, I bought it, so I must finish all of this cocaine.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I don't remember how much longer after that they banned ephedra in those drinks, but I was just like, I'm a mess. Like I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah,
Bouncing off the walls of the train.
I couldn't fit. And I was like, there's no way we can do our trip to Boston if I keep doing. Like in my head, I was thinking, I didn't say anything to my
Yeah.
buddy. I was like,
Yeah.
But
Well, this is why you carry around that second spleen in your backpack,
yes.
attached to you by a flesh ribbon.
I can't even
That
imagine
is
like
such a grotesque image.
if you were in Philadelphia with that in particular, because it's like, like you're on the subway, sometimes you got to be able to take the bag off at a moment's notice, or you got to be able to sling, to sit down. It's like, I guess you'd have to stand on the subway because you can't sit with the backpack.
No,
Yeah.
no, they won't allow that. They'll have your ass for that. But yeah, so I'm excited to see that if they'll keep popping things. I think that's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. The other thing, talking about heroin, we were Kim and I were laughing the other night because I had taken an edible,
Right.
and she was laughing at me, and she was like, "It's a gateway drug, you know." And she was saying, before you know it, you'll be going downstairs to the basement, shooting up heroin, and then she went and watching Train Spotting. And I thought what I loved about that observation was that she'd gone like, okay, gateway drug, heroin addict, blah, 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 blah. But then she'd gone, and of course, just to add that extra bit of heroin, the heroin addict would be watching a movie about heroin addict. And so that started us down a road of me being like, and then next up on heroin television, it's Requiem for a Dream.
Right. Pulp Fiction, I guess, right? Yeah.
By the end of this movie, you will have seen Jennifer Connelly do something you never wanted to see Jennifer Connelly do, and Jared Leto will lose an arm.
Yeah.
Good night, boys and girls.
Right, and she does it at the behest of Keith David, which is
yeah. But look, it's and they electrocute Ellen Burstyn in that.
Right, exactly.
I mean, imagine the marketing department for Requiem for a Dream. They bring the movie in, they watch it. Everyone is just like aghast. Like the lights come up and everyone just has like 1,000-yard stare and their jaw hanging by the floor. And they're like, so we want to get a nice summer marketing campaign behind this movie. Have you ever wanted to see Jennifer Connelly go ass to ass in front of Japanese businessmen with a large black dildo? Have you ever wanted to see Jared Leto lose an arm? And everyone in the audience just goes, yes. And then, have you ever wanted to see them electrocute Ellen Burstyn? And then the entire audience is just like, where do I give you my money? And then Requiem for a Dream becomes the big hit of the 90s. We knew it could, Matt.
Right, exactly. Yes. Yeah, poor Ellen. I always think whenever I hear the Rolling Stones' "Mother's Little Helper" song now, I think of Ellen Burstyn in "Requiem for a Dream" now. So we're doing the diet pills or whatever like that. So
no, it's insane. But no, that was a funny bit that Kim and I were doing the other night about the idea that, well, if you're a heroin addict, just to get that extra heroin, you would watch a movie around heroin addicts. And then as I went downstairs, I had a really weird thought. I had seen a really funny video that Jimmy Kimmel had put out that was one of his down the rabbit hole things, where he was trying to connect Waffle House fight videos and the fact that IHOP doesn't have the same level of fight videos that Waffle House does. And he's like, it's the same pastry basically, except one, or batter, like one is flat and one has cubes in it. Like, what's the whole thing? And he went down this thing all about Waffle House fight videos and all these connections between waffles and the Belgians. I mean, it was really cleverly written. It was really, I'm not a big like Kimmel fan or whatever. I like him, he's fine, but I'm not like a stan for Kimmel or whatever the kids say. But I did really like this video. And it got me thinking as I was walking downstairs last night, having thought about heroin movies. I thought, I don't know why, Matt, but I was like, what if you took every Waffle House fight video, right? Slowed it down ever so slightly, and then scored it with Glenn Campbell's The Wichita Lineman. So as you had like a half-naked hillbilly flying across the table, covered in waffles, just be like, and I hear you through the wine, and the Wichita lineman is still on the line, and then the guy without pants drops from the ceiling and just crashes out on the griddle. I mean, how funny would that be? It's just Waffle Hut videos, insane Waffle Hut videos slowed down and scored to the Wichita lineman.
That's so beautiful. I'm gonna have to, I haven't heard that song in a while for either. Yeah,
I love that song, dude. Glenn Campbell's a genius.
Oh, such a good one. Yeah, that's I never considered the Belgian element of this before. Like, do Belgians look at these Waffle House videos and think this is what they've done to our culinary creation? Like, you Americans, like, there's nothing so American either
as taking something European and just shitting all over it.
Now, I've heard like Cincinnati actually has some really good, like, actual legit Belgian Waffle Houses.
Yeah.
Which my friend.
Well, you sit here talking to the only man you probably know who's ever been. So if IHOP is the top, right?
Right.
Waffle House is next.
Right.
Right. I've been to a Huddle Hut. I kid you not.
What is that?
It's like the off-brand Waffle House. It's like we're not rich enough in this county to have a Waffle House, so instead we've turned the old Waffle House into a Huddle Hut.
Is it Huddle Hut or Huddle House?
Huddle Hut, I think.
It says it's Huddle House located in the Mid-Atlantic.
No, this is North Asheville area.
Okay, so Huddle House looks like it's actual like hamburger place. Okay.
No,
So
this
Huddle
is the
Hut.
Huddle. This was a breakfast place.
Okay, so let's see. Huddle Hut. Okay, here we go.
Huddle Hut restaurant. It's
Okay.
a thing. The Huddle
Okay.
Hut. There's one in Little Falls, New Jersey.
Yes, I see. That's a pizza. It's pizza. It says here.
Oh, that's
Or is it
weird. No, this
pizza?
is in North Carolina.
Okay, let's see what happens. Huddle Hut, North Carolina.
I didn't just dream it, dude. Was it Huddle House that I went to?
It sounds like it's Huddle House. It sounds like it's Huddle House.
Thought it was a Huddle Hut.
Because
Maybe I'm getting it wrong then, dude. Maybe it was a Huddle House.
I think it might be a Huddle House because it's got
There it is,
like,
Huddle House, Asheville, North Carolina. There it is.
Yeah,
but this is the kind of place, dude. If you've had
hash brown casserole.
Yeah, if you've been to a Huddle House, that's really now the Huddle House I went to was a lot more breakfasty. It was a lot more like a Waffle House, but it was a Huddle House.
Okay.
And what I liked about that was I just thought, well, you've got International House of Pancakes, then you've got Waffle House, then you've got Huddle House. Because they're not even sure what you're doing. You're just huddling. And when you think of huddling, what do you think? You think of homeless people around a fiery oil bin. You know what I mean? That's where huddle, right? And the huddled masses, right? You think of people coming off the ships just hunched over and covered in dirt and with scurvy and whatever, the huddled, dirty masses, the plebatory, the plebs. Clawing their way to freedom just to be shat on by another hierarchy of bigoted billionaires. Anyway, the huddle does not inspire confidence. You know what I mean?
No.
Huddle means I'm going to put down this pancake and you can huddle around it for warmth because it's the only warmth that you're going to feel for the next year because you're homeless and hooked on crack.
Right.
So that's what I thought about Huddle House, and I've been to a Huddle House, and I was lucky to escape with my mustache. It was quite the place.
Yeah, I have to say, I'm just to give kind of full context, I'm looking to for my birthday in April last year. I went to New York City, but I was thinking about doing like a small trip because part of the thing was Jen was upset that I went to New York to see a Yankees game on my birthday, like on the actual day.
Right.
Me stick around. So I was thinking about maybe going the weekend before my birthday. It's the opening weekend of baseball, and I thought maybe I could like pair a trip with like a baseball game and maybe a hockey game. So I was thinking like St. Louis. I could see the Cardinals and the Blues. And I see that there are Huddle House locations in Missouri. The other one I was thinking before that was Charlotte, North Carolina, and Raleigh to see a Charlotte Hornets game and a Hurricanes game. There's an Amtrak train you can take between the two.
How about that Blue Jays Dodgers final?
No, horrible.
Oh,
how could that happen?
Okay, yes, of course the Jays should win. Of course, thank you,
Yes.
Matt. That's
Yes.
right. But that game had everything.
It was
that
tense.
was a smorgasbord of baseball. That was every play imaginable, and then it ended on a double out. Like it was
right. Yes.
Hey.
And the guy who threw the double play. So there's two things about that. So that guy used to play with the Red Sox, Mookie Betts. He was an all-time generational talent, and the Red Sox were like, we don't want to pay him, and they sent him off to the Dodgers, where he's only gone on to win 3 more World Series. Mookie Betts now has 4 World Series, which puts him, I think the record might be 5 amongst players that didn't play for the Yankees. So you've got Yankees players where they've got like 9 and 10, some of them, or even more, 12. Some of them have tons of them. But outside of the Yankees, there aren't many players that have won 4 or more World Series if you didn't play for the Yankees. Mookie Betts is now that guy. And he played right field with the Red Sox in 2018 when they beat the Dodgers. He then moved to second base for the Dodgers. I think he played center field for them. And now they have him at shortstop, and he turns that double play like it's nothing. Like he's always played that position.
Right. I mean, to have a final game with 2 double plays in it, because they've done a double play earlier in the game as well.
Right. And I mean, it's so heartbreaking because you want
the Blue Jays put up a great spreads. I mean, they took it all as far as they possibly could.
Yeah, I mean, they were essentially 1 inning away, right? They got to the 9th inning, they were ahead, and then the Dodgers tied the game. I mean, they got robbed in the game before with the whole ball caught under the fence thing or something like that. But yeah, it's an interesting thing because it's like on the one hand, you don't really have like a team. Because I know you root for the Yankees, I root for the Red Sox. That they're both kind of rivals.
Well, I did root for the Yankees. I'm subsequently shopping around for another team now.
Oh, you're shopping for another team
after this summer because of a certain thing they did that they didn't need to do, and for some reason they did it and had a certain person in the stadium, and I'm like,
okay, I got you. I mean, if you're thinking of other teams, I mean, the Mets have a pretty fun atmosphere as well at their games. But obviously,
I might pick a local Connecticut different league baseball.
The Wolfpack. I've been wanting to go to a Wolfpack game forever.
Aren't they hockey though?
No. So yeah, right. The Wolfpack is the Yard Goats. The Yard Goats. The baseball team.
So the Wolfpack I want to go to as well. I have been to the Hat Tricks in Danbury. So that's my closest.
You told me about that. Yes.
My closest hockey is the Hat Tricks in Danbury. But I want to go to the Wolfpack. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But there is also, I believe, a Danbury baseball team. I forget what they're called. And we had tickets and we didn't go, and it was terrible and we should have gone. But next year, I'm going to go watch them. Let's get into local teams, Matt. Let's dig down. It's exciting to watch the World Series, but they've ruined the regular game. The other reason why I like the World Series is they don't have that stupid 15-second pitching rule. Which
they do. They still have the clock. They're just better at using it.
The last few games they were saying as a commentator that it's not that those rules don't apply. That's how.
Overtime rules don't apply. So that the extra inning rules where you get like a guy on second base, that didn't apply. But they still had the pitch clock. They were still counting them down.
No, because there was that time where that pitcher was taking forever to pitch, and they were questioning it, and then
they called timeout. But maybe they weren't enforcing it. Maybe that's what you mean. They weren't calling balls.
Yeah, I don't think they were, dude. Like that's why I preferred the games, because there was more of a method to it. But
see, I like the pitch clock. I'm always a fan. I want to get those games out as quickly as possible. But
no, I don't. See, I liked going there, sitting down for 4.5 hours, eating my body weight in pig's lips and assholes wrapped in skin, and maybe some chicken wings or something of that ilk, or chicken fingers, and drinking a few beverages and having the late summer sun kiss my body. And instead, I get there, it's already the 5th inning, fall over, some people come out, sing YMCA, and the damn thing's done with. And you're back on the train being like, I spent 4 hours return journey on a train to see 20 minutes of baseball.
Yes, you have a different experience from me, where I live 20 minutes away from where the Phillies play. So it's like I walk there, hang out for a couple hours, stop at CVS on the way home to pick up stuff for my wife. It's a kind of a different vibe.
Well, I had that dream about doing that at the Barclays Center with the hockey. Yeah. And then the damn Islanders moved back out to the Coliseum, and I'm just I was like, you're breaking my heart. Well, I lived right there, dude. I was right there. I could have watched hockey on tap. I could have been there every single hockey night. Yeah. It was 5 minutes from my home, Matt. And they were there. I saw a Leafs Islanders game towards the end of the season, and I was like, that's great. Next season I'll get tickets and blah 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 blah. And then the very next season, Matt,
they went back.
And it was I got to see like the Leafs play the Islanders, like third row, dude, for $50. It was the best. It was the best because nobody cares about the Islanders. So when like these bigger teams play them, it was a whole thing.
Well, nobody cared in Brooklyn. Like if you go, like I went last year.
No. If you go out to Long Island, they do. But who cares about Long Island?
Exactly. I took the Long Island Railroad.
I apologize to my friends in Long Island. You are all wonderful.
But
Skittles popped. Sorry, I'm doing some ASMR. We got to keep the kids. We got to keep the kids listening.
Yeah. But I was, that was one thing I was going to actually mention to you, because we did start the hockey season, and I feel like that's
one of the things. Are all over the fucking show.
Right. Well, I mean, and the Bruins aren't doing as great either. But so far I've been to 2 games. I went to see the Devils play the Oilers up in New Jersey. Got to see Connor McDavid, who is just insane.
Amazing.
And then when I visited my family, my brother and I, we saw the Bruins play the Hurricanes, and then that night we saw the Celtics play the Rockets. So they played the same game. But I am telling you, like, this is one thing I don't get about as an American who grew up in America and American sports. Like, and I watch all of them. I watch especially the 4 major ones. There's just nothing in out of the 4 major sports like going to a live hockey game.
Oh, it's the best.
Nothing compares to it. And I don't know why more people don't do it, why more people aren't into hockey. It just doesn't,
Yeah. Well, people say shit like, well, I can't follow it and I can never see the puck and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, get to a live game.
Right.
Get to a
Yes.
live game, because I really think it's sort of the same for baseball, but maybe not. Uh, in the sense that I think you can get a better vision of it on TV once you've experienced it live. But if you've never experienced it live and you've only watched it on TV, you would think the gameplay would be easier to follow, but it isn't. It's easier to follow, even if you're in the nosebleeds. I've been all the way up in the nosebleeds in Yankee Stadium. It's still possible to follow the gameplay almost easier than it was on TV. In fact, there was a couple of home runs there where the network we were watching on, they didn't even have a camera on the guy running. And I'm like, they had a camera on some woman in the stands, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what's happening? So, TV is not always the fail-safe everyone thinks it is.
Well, no, TV is perfect for football, and I think TV works better for the NBA, or works good. I think NBA I think can go either way. I mean, the NFL, it's like I've been to a few games with my brother at the Patriots, and actually has a coworker who gets season tickets, and it's like a whole all-day thing.
Yeah.
And you can't see the game as well in the stadium as you can when you watch it on TV. Like they got these perfect angles. They've got it. It is more of a TV sport. But the NHL, it is like you just being in the rink, hearing the puck hit the sticks, hitting the boards, the skates, the horns. There's just nothing like it.
The organ, everything.
Oh, the organ. It is the great. And people listening who don't follow sports, like people that listen to the podcast here who aren't sports fans, which I know a lot of you aren't sports fans, go to a hockey game, whether it's the NHL, it's the AHL, if you got a local AHL team, just get out there, just pony up the cash and just go for that one night and just do it. And you'll know what I'm talking about.
So we went to see the Danbury Hat Tricks.
Yeah.
And what was great is, obviously we've talked about this before, but the Trashers,
mm-hmm.
and the documentary and the fact that they were mob connected and whatever. Yeah. Well, what was great was the night that we went to the Hat Tricks. It was one of their like celebrating alumni kind of nights. Okay. And it was basically whoever they could round up from the last 12 years who still played in Danbury, or the last 20 years or whatever it was. And they had a couple of guys from the Trashers who came out, a couple of the owners, and they have them down on the ice, but then they also have them on a big flat screen that's like the sound quality is so bad, and the like image is like bleached out and awful, and it's it's because it's a big jumbotron at a hockey game, but it's not. It's the Danbury Hat Tricks, and it's basically in like a slightly chilly school hall with a flat screen that the Geek Squad from Best Buy put up for free, and they had these guys, so all you could hear was like, with a lot of distortion and whatever, with these like thick fucking like mob accents, and I'm like, aren't you all from Connecticut? They were like, yeah, it's so great to be back here in Danbury, and I'm like, what is going on? But it was so funny. They were all wearing their like Tony Soprano leather jackets and stuff. And I'm like, once people found out on TV that it was like mob money and stuff, they've clearly like leaned into the mob, like the low level mob kind of look. Yeah, I'm just hanging out over here with Tony. We're just on the ice watching the Trashers play. Oh, I remember the days. Back. So that was a lot of fun, and I recommend it to everyone.